Last time on Square Roots, it's a super time in DC when we fight through waves of mutants to make some new steely friends. We also get a celebrity meet and greet with our favorite DJ. My favorite DC area DJ is Diane Rehm. We'd boost her signal any day, am I right, boys? She got that Peabody-Ody-Ody!
And welcome to Square Roots, the classic RPG podcast. My name is Jim Banks. I'm joined by Matthew Van Zandt.
Please call me Diane Rehm.
John Tranquility Lane Brandon.
You always were a kidder, Jim.
And Vanessa.
I can't believe that my top tier Diane Rehm bit isn't going over well with this audience.
And this is a podcast where we play and talk about your favorite classic RPGs, one chunker at a time. And this is episode 3 of Fallout 3.
But first,
worth noting,
I critique your tracks from the previous week. Johnny, what the fuck? Vanessa, stop eating on mic. Jim, stop typing on mic.
I love to type.
I'm not editing this week.
Come on.
Eat all the Pringles you want, my friend.
Come on.
I don't care. In fact, you know what? I'm going to go get my own can of Pringles.
No. Slam. Good to see all of you. It's worth noting that this is also episode 420.
Whoa.
Snoochy
Everybody's
boochies,
wearing
Jim.
cute. Everybody's wearing cute, tiny mustaches and their finest Hugo Boss.
And we're listening to Sublime and getting higher than 2 kites.
Mm-hmm.
Snoochy booches, Jim.
That's a phrase I haven't heard in a long time and have been very pleased to not have heard for a long time.
That's one of those phrases that never made it to millennials. It's a Gen X phrase.
I mean, I am a millennial, and I definitely have heard it a lot.
I've never tried a marijuana cigarette, and I don't intend to.
Wow, way to harsh the fucking buzz. All right, well.
What a square!
Fucking
square!
That's
Vanessa
the name of this
Buzzkill
podcast.
is her name.
Yeah!
In 5th grade, I signed a pledge. A pledge that I would dare to say no to drugs. And I take that very seriously. My word is my bond. That is all I have in this world.
I'm pretty sure that agreements made under duress are non-binding, and they did basically hold you hostage in your 5th grade classroom until you signed
I
it.
remember I signed that contract in the same afternoon that all the cops came and were like, "Hey, wouldn't it be fun to get fingerprinted?" So like they took all of our fingerprints.
Oh,
You know what turns out? They
sneaks?
use those fingerprints later for booking people, not just for, because the whole pretense was, oh, we're building a database in case you get kidnapped.
In case we need to identify your body?
Mm-hmm.
This is so we can rule you out later. It's fine.
I don't think that they fingerprinted us, but I do remember an officer coming and he had like a picture frame and it had little compartments in it and it was just full of like different kinds of drugs and candy.
Nice.
And he showed us how the drugs look like candy. Yes, Matt.
I have a quick aside question. Vanessa has sent a picture of Neil Bream or whatever the name of the person she said in the intro was. And Vanessa, do you
Neil
think
Bream.
that we're going to recognize this radio host by their picture?
Is that Hollywood's hottest DJ? Look at her. She is plugged in.
Sorry, Diane Rehm, Neil Breen. What's the difference?
I can't believe that you guys don't know who Diane Rehm is. She's 87 years old and she's been a journalist for years.
Sure, she's the one who went undercover in the Playboy Club.
That's right. No,
Vanessa's
wait,
just a fan because
Oh,
she.
that's cool.
Vanessa's just a fan because she taught her in college.
I think that was
She taught
Gloria
Diane
Steinem.
Rehm in college.
Yeah, I shot Diane Rehm in college. It's true.
I did like when I said Snoochie Boochies that Matt suddenly sounded like Obi-Wan Kenobi. Oh, Snoochie Boochies. That's a phrase I haven't heard in
I really
years.
liked Kevin Smith stuff when I was in my early 20s, and now I fucking hate it. You know what really killed Kevin Smith for me was listening to his podcast. I just suddenly couldn't find anything that guy did funny. What a fucking mistake. I mean, then
Didn't
again,
you talk
he's gone on to
about
have a
how
good
he
career, I
liked
think.
to eat his wife's ass on there?
Oh,
What?
boy.
I don't want to know that. Jim, why'd you
I
put
kinda
it in
wanna
my
watch-
head?
Because Mallrats was my favorite. I kind of want to see if Mallrats held up.
I don't know if I've ever
it was-
seen Mallrats.
It was Dogma
I
for
have
me. I
never
really
seen
loved
Mallrats.
Dogma.
I liked
Oh
Dogma
God,
too.
I hated Dogma.
I thought
hated
Dogma
it.
was too preachy.
Yeah,
I
it
hated
felt-
it.
I'd seen like bad college theater, and that's what it felt like to me.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
How dare you call Alan Rickman a bad college theater lover?
He didn't
Alan
write
Rickman's,
it.
Can't believe
Alan
you
Rickman
said that.
and Alanis Morissette were really good in that movie.
And you also
Lance
were a
Morissette's
big
in
fan
it
of
for
Ben
like
Affleck
5
and Matt
minutes.
Damon.
Like 3 minutes probably.
And George Carlson and Carrie Fisher.
And it has Ethan Suplee, but he's only playing a shit monster, which is just not fair.
Whoa, Ethan Suplee played the shit monster? I didn't know that.
And by played the shit monster, you mean recorded the voice tracks where he went.
He pro- I bet he was there in
that
like
thing does.
a green
Does he have
suit.
any lines?
I don't know, probably not.
Anyway, how about we stop talking about irrelevant, stupid bullshit and talk about the important things our listeners want to hear about, like hot gaming
Snoochie
news.
Booches.
Okay, no, let's keep talking about it. What are your other favorite stoner classics? Are you guys big fans of Dazed and Confused, or
No.
No.
Matt, I
what's
have
the-
some hot
what's the
gaming
one with
news
Jon
for
Stewart
you.
and Dave Chappelle?
That's Half Baked.
Half baked.
Jon Stewart and Dave Chappelle together?
Jon
Jon
Stewart
Stewart's
is
been
in
in,
that
like, one movie.
Jon Stewart's in like he's like has a
No, he was in the
cameo
faculty.
that. As a science teacher.
Yeah.
I can't
gets
remember the
stabbed
name of
in
the
the
guy
eyeball.
that stars alongside Dave Chappelle. It was the guy that already looked like he
Jim
was stoned.
Brewer.
Yeah, Jim Brewer. He was a fucking idiot.
Jim Brewer.
He was
Oh,
terrible.
is he the one who
Who
turned
now
into like
now
a
he's a
Trumpo?
conservative.
Yeah, he
Looney
dresses
Tune.
the least shocking thing I've ever heard. In fact, I would go so far as to say it's probably not now he is a conservative.
Yeah, that's true. I like the movie Grandma's Boy. It's not good, but
Oh, I did
I
see
have a
that.
friend
I
that
like it.
I have a friend that loves that movie and talks about it all the time.
I like that movie.
My parents.
I think
like
my
Cheech and Chong.
I think
I don't know why.
my banner photo on my Facebook profile is actually a still from Grandma's Boy. I think.
Wow.
God.
Cheech and Chong is one of those things that's like got clips that are funny, but if you try to watch a movie, it's the worst thing
It's the
you've ever
most
seen
boring
in your
thing you've
life.
ever
Yeah,
seen.
it's
in
so
your life.
boring.
Yeah.
It's like
It's
like
so,
a
so
Peter
boring.
Sellers comedy. Trying to watch one of those, it's
I don't think you're
Here,
supposed to watch
I'll
that
put
stuff
this in the
sober.
group chat. It's my.
It's true.
It's
You're not
fine.
wrong.
yeah. All right, so hot.
Remember that
gaming
scene in
news.
Far Cry 4 where you burn the field of marijuana and you get real stoned and
Nobody's
stumble
played Far
around?
Cry 4.
Or is it Far Cry 3?
I wouldn't have been surprised if Vanessa had been like, oh yeah, I finished Far Cry 4. I could see her that's the kind of game Vanessa would pick up and be like, sure.
I played Far Cry 5 a little bit, but
That was
I
the
didn't
one
get
in
that
America,
into it.
right? It wasn't
Yeah.
very good.
Yeah. So, hot gaming news. PlayStation 2 emulation is now available on PlayStation 5. If you
The
have
whole
PS
What does
PlayStation
that
Plus.
2
mean?
catalog?
What does that mean? What does that mean?
Yeah, please.
They
There's
built
already
a new-
PlayStation 2 games on there, and there have been for a long
Yeah,
time.
there
So
have
I don't know
been.
what you're talking
Yeah.
about.
No, there haven't. This is new.
Yes,
This-
there has.
There haven't been PlayStation 2 games. There's on PS4. Oh, you know what? Yes, there were, but there were PS4 emulation. This is now native PS5 emulation.
What
I-
is the difference? Because if you're bringing in a PS2 game and it's just an emulation, it's not
Yeah.
going to look better on the PS5,
Well, I mean,
is it?
yeah, it is because they've I think they doubled vertical resolution or something weird like that. Each time it was a different way of emulating it. So they got a new one. I want to play it. I'm excited to see what it's like.
Seems like a distinction without a difference. And also, we're all way too stoned to understand what you're talking about, except for Vanessa,
sorry.
who has never smoked a marijuana cigarette in her life.
I've never smoked a marijuana cigarette, and I've never tried a marijuana gummy.
She just does
Vanessa
mountains of
only
cocaine.
she only takes Jet and Psycho.
That's right.
Just like Vanessa's best friend. What was his name? Pierre Lannister? No.
Lannister.
Pierre Lannister.
Johnny Silverhand?
No, the other guy. Sorry.
best
Paulie
friend.
Kentelly. Paulie Kentelly. The one who's
Oh,
like,
yeah,
hey,
yeah.
buddy, can I have some Psycho? I'm like, sure. Although
We'll
he
get
had
to that in
plenty...
the quest log.
Yeah, it's true. Otherwise, not a ton of super exciting news coming out this week. Is there anything you guys
No.
want to talk about?
There was a small thing, which is that the Beyond Good and Evil 20th Anniversary remaster and the Riven remake
that's
did
cool.
come out this week. So last week when you're listening to this, I guess.
I'll have to put
Is it
that up for
Riven
a
or
vote.
Riven?
I've always said
Riven.
Riven, but I
Yeah.
don't.
Oh. Okay.
Uh,
I don't
it's
know.
code-
I
An
don't know.
amazing game.
It's Coven.
I really
Jim.
liked Riven when I was like a teen. Like it was really hard, and I certainly never finished it because GameFAQs was barely a thing back then. But it was a different kind of game. It was very interesting.
come on,
and
Matt.
I'm a
You-
big fan of Myst.
We're such,
Driven. That
we're-
sounds like Driven, man.
We are FMV game masters. Remember how we just breezed through 11th hour?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that was the one I wasn't on, and you guys didn't even make it through it.
Yeah,
We
we'll
made
have
it
to try it
like
again.
45 minutes in, and we got stuck on the same puzzle for the entire time. and
Yeah,
gave
there was
up.
a mouse.
Oh,
game
John,
puzzle.
did you know there's a seventh guest VR
Ooh.
that's supposed to be pretty good?
Ooh. Okay. Okay.
I kind of want to try that one.
How the fuck did we get to talking about VR? I refuse.
I'm a master now at curving all conversations right back to VR.
I got some
Anyway,
hot
I
gaming
haven't-
news.
I don't think any of us have played those yet, but I'm pretty excited for them. I downloaded Myst onto
Yeah,
my
they're cool.
iPad just to maybe catch up and play Riven again. That would be fun. And I think it's like a 3D remake, which is neat, you know.
That is cool. It's totally 3D.
I think so.
So it's not like the
No.
45 degrees of
No, they
like,
did that with Myst.
perspective that you
They
get.
did that with Myst like 10 years ago. They released like a full 3D version of Myst.
I played a little bit of that a couple years ago. I think it was on Game Pass for a minute.
Yeah, Myst is cool, and Riven was a good sequel, and I never played any of the rest of those games.
Y'all ever play Pyst? Do you remember that?
Yes.
It was like
well,
John
I remember
Goodman,
the box.
and he made a parody game of Myst. I never played it either, but I do remember the box.
Did he make
Jeremy
it?
Piven?
He actually made it?
I don't think he made it, but he was like on the cover.
Was
Oh.
it spelled Pyst?
Yes,
Yeah.
I think so.
Who
Pretty
made
funny.
it? Who's on the cover?
John
John
Goodman.
Goodman.
Oh, John Goodman. I thought it said Jeremy Piven.
I don't know
Yeah,
how you
Jeremy
could
Piven.
possibly mix
A
that.
different vibe.
Everyone's most favorite charismatic actor, Jeremy Piven.
Yeah.
Y'all remember when Jeremy Piven dropped out of that play because he had mercury poisoning? And then someone did like the most epic slam on him and said that he'd left the play to become a thermometer.
How did he get mercury poisoning?
He says it was from eating too much sushi.
Oh.
But everyone else says that allegedly that wasn't the reason he left the play. Allegedly, he just didn't have the chops to be on Broadway. Allegedly.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
I love this hot Broadway
wow.
goss.
I know. This
Hot
is
Broadway
Hot
Goss
Goss
from 10 years
Hot
ago.
Goss Corner.
Yeah,
Yeah.
10-year-old Goss. I remember that. All right, Vanessa, you had some
Yeah.
hot gaming news.
Yeah. I think that this is something that Jim will be interested in.
Ooh.
Hey,
Oh,
Jim,
God, it's gonna be more
the new
VR talk.
A24 movie looks really good, huh?
Oh, it super does.
That's like my kind of jam, that new A24
Yeah.
movie. It's called Heretic. It's got Hugh Grant in it. He has like a
Ooh.
maze of death.
Ooh.
Yeah, and it's like religious themed.
It's religious versus science, and the hottest game is getting through Hugh Grant's maze of death.
It's like Hypercube.
It does kind of seem like Hypercube, but in like a guy's scary house. Vanessa, have you seen the cinematic classic Cube 2 Hypercube?
I don't believe I have. Nor have I seen those escape room movies, which I think are not supposed to be good, but I am interested
the first
in.
one is bad, but the second one's okay.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Nor have I
The
seen...
second one is much more self-aware than the first
Oh,
one,
good.
which I think makes it better. Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, this Hugh Grant movie, it's sort of a game because it's about a game, and the game is Gothroughmaze. That's
Is
it.
what?
You know, Go Through a Maze. Maze is a game.
Oh, yeah. It looks fun.
It's a navigation puzzle. All right, that's it for our hot gaming news.
Did you say Gothroughmaze as if that is a game genre we should understand?
Yeah, Go Through Maze.
Okay.
They call those puzzle games.
When are you finally gonna take that wig off and reveal the antennae underneath, you fucking alien weirdo?
Aww.
Gothroughmaze. All right.
Who wants to level up first? That's our next segment.
Not me, because I ain't done shit. It's been 4 days since we recorded.
I'll go first.
Great.
I did a thing. I went and saw a movie. One might call it a modern cinematic classic.
Let me guess. In
I went and
VR.
saw-
You went and saw
No, it was not
a
in
movie.
VR. It was IRL. And it was the movie. It was the movie Pet Sematary.
Ooh, the original?
The original, yeah. I went and saw that in theaters last week.
Sometimes
Uh,
dead is better.
I don't know. Want to stay off that rod? Oh man, it was funny because I took my daughter, and that Fred Gwynn in that movie has been parodied so much. During the movie, Jalen leaned over and she's like, "This is the guy who's like always in those like comedy movies and talking about like roads and stuff." She's like, because they did that character in South Park. And I think both of the South Park games, so that's like her only frame of reference for it. So it was interesting to see her like recognize it from its origin. But that movie is actually a really big bummer, and it made me remember why I don't watch it very often, because it mostly sucks and it's pretty sad. And going back to VR now. Sorry, that was a little VR. That was a little non-VR aside. Going back to VR, I did download and play Beat Saber, which is super fun and actually pretty hard. And I downloaded a rock playlist that's got a couple songs I was into, and a Green Day playlist, which has a few songs that I'm into, so that's fun. I'm definitely getting better at it. I was having trouble getting through songs on easy at first. But now I did my first song on hard today.
Ooh.
And actually finished it. Yeah. The Green Day song Minority I finished on hard. So that's cool. And I also have been playing Resident Evil 8 for the last couple days. And I would say, John, it's better than Resident Evil 4.
Huh. Wow.
In terms of like how intuitive it is to grab stuff, and how easy it is to manage the weapons, and how like responsive it is at interacting with stuff in the world. I feel like it's better, and it does a lot cooler things with like the character's perspective. Like sometimes like you'll get knocked down and a big enemy is looming over you, and you have to like actually look up to see it, and like it does there's a lot more like range of motion that it takes advantage of in like the room around you than Resident Evil 4. So it's pretty neat. So that's how I leveled up. Vanessa, how did you level up?
Thanks for asking, Jim. I have continued to play Marvel's Midnight Suns. I'm super into it. Again, people keep telling me that it's not a dating game, but then why did Tony Stark love it so much when I gave him a book of erotic Iron Man fan fiction?
You're going to make this game into a dating sim whether it wants it or
I'm
not.
going to find a way. That is true that you can give him a volume of Iron Man fan fiction. It didn't specify on the cover that it's erotic, but is there any other kind?
No,
I don't think
there's
people are
definitely
out there
not.
writing platonic stories about Tony Stark.
Why would
Why would you? I also
Wow, way to reduce Tony Stark to just an object.
he's not
It's not
real.
real,
I
Jim.
can objectify him as much as I want to.
Yeah,
That's what's
Vanessa
fun
and
about
I-
imaginary characters.
Yeah, Vanessa and I have agreed on that we're not going to perv on real people anymore, because then we'll look like
Oh, okay.
lady singing
Okay.
that song about unnamed celebrity.
That's right. But I can sing a song about Iron Man if I want to, and nobody will have a problem with it.
How would it go?
Hey, you're not the best character, but you've got so much money. Marry me.
Beautiful.
I mean, he's a hero.
You.
Saves the world on a regular basis.
Sure, but he's
an
kind
altruist.
of a dick. Yeah, but his ego is so big. You know, kind of sucks. He doesn't have any real powers. He just has a suit.
Yeah, what a baby.
Yeah.
I mean, he's like Batman. His power is billions of dollars.
It's true.
I also watched a show on Netflix called Eric.
Oh, how was that? I've been thinking about trying that.
I would say that it was okay. Benedict Cumberbatch gives a fantastic performance in sort of a dual role as a drunk father of a missing child, and also a full body puppet of a monster like Sweetums from the Muppets. So the sort of conceit is that he is a puppeteer. He's kind of a Jim Henson type in the 80s. They're not as successful, but he has a TV show. And they want to introduce a new character, and he decides that if he makes this puppet that his child created and puts it on TV, then the little boy will come back. It's sort of a cop mystery as well, because they're looking for this kid, and there's another child who's missing from the same neighborhood, and it has all of that going on. But really what it's about is kind of Benedict Cumberbatch just doing this really meaty role. Very emotional. I can definitely see why he wanted to take it as an actor. I would say that the story doesn't fully come together in a way that was satisfying to me. They kind of tried to do the mystery thing where all of the threads wrapped up into a neat bow after, having these sort of parallel stories going on. But it didn't quite land for me. And I'm not sure why. Also, everyone on the show is kind of terrible. It's one of those shows where every character is not really a good person, and the more you learn about them, the less you kind of root for them. With the exception of the guy who plays the cop and his character. He was sort of he's not the protagonist of the show, but he's the moral center, I would say. Well, all these other people are falling apart. It's interesting. And my final level up, this is a big one, it happened just last night. I have been laboring under the delusion that Mayor of Easttown and Mayor of Kingstown are the same show. It turns out that they are two entirely separate shows.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, they do have two completely different names. And I'm
Right,
pretty
but
sure
I've
one's
never
East Town and the other one's like Easton.
And one is Mare.
Yeah, one
And
is
the other one is
Mare.
Yeah.
I'm
Y-O-R.
not sure. Okay, so first of all, I did not watch Mayor of Easttown. I'm not sure I ever saw it written down. I may have believed
about a
that
horse.
it was Mayor of Easttown, but everyone was like saying it with a weird New
man.
England accent. Well, my belief was that I knew that Jeremy Renner was not Kate Winslet. So
Yeah.
I'm starting from
Was that show, I've seen a lot of commercials for that show. Was that filmed pre-accident?
I think it's post-accident. I'm not
Wow,
sure.
good for him.
Yeah.
Good for him.
I personally have found it very inspirational to think about what he went through during my
me
relatively
too.
light recuperation compared to everything he had to deal with.
Yeah, he broke his taint.
He broke everything.
Yeah.
I thought it was like True Detective, where each season would have like a different person as the central figure. And I guess I just thought they were somehow related. And I still can't fully believe that they're two entirely separate shows.
I've never seen Mayor of Kingston, but Mayor of Easttown, good show. I watched that. It's pretty good.
So, that's how I leveled up. I learned something new, and I'm not ashamed to say that I was incorrect in my belief about these two television series that are completely unrelated. I even went and looked at like the creators of each show to see if it was somehow. I could not believe that there was
trying
no
to find a connecting
association.
thread.
Yeah, like they have to be
Kyle
connected
Chandler
somehow.
Wasn't Kyle Chandler in Mayor of Kingston?
I don't know anything about either of these shows, Jim. Clearly, I thought they were the same thing.
I like Kyle Chandler.
Matt,
Yes, ma'am.
how did you level up?
Well, I haven't done a lot. It's only been a few days since the last time we recorded, as I have complained about already. I did watch a couple of movies. I watched, I don't know what year it came out. I watched Predators. Y'all remember Predators?
Nah.
Is
Starring
that
Adrian
the one with
Brody.
the indigenous people fighting the predator?
No, that's Prey.
Oh. No, that's
Predators
the one
was, I
in
think-
space where you're actually
Yeah.
an alien. Spoiler.
Predators was, I think, the third probably Predator movie. Stars Adrian Brody. It's got Topher Grace, Lawrence Fishburne, I think. Lawrence
Danny
Fishburne.
Trejo.
Yeah, Danny Trejo.
Rutger Hauer?
Rosalind. No, the
Walton
lady, I
Goggins
can't
is in
remember
it,
her
and he's
name.
fantastic.
Walton Goggins is in it. Yeah.
It was pretty good, actually. It was fun. Like, it's not great, and that's the one that, the Predators kidnap a group of humans and bring them to like a game preserve type thing on another planet where they hunt them down, and then it also introduces the like super predators. And I really think that's kind of the big flaw with the movie is that the Predator is such a great design, and then you introduce these like large-headed, bigger-jawed, sillier-looking predators, and it's not very good. It was all right. I liked it. Like, it was fun. It was pretty funny though, like the way it was written, where like every person that gets kidnapped carries a different type of weapon. You know, like we've got the guy with the pistol, and the Walton Goggins only has a shiv because he's a prisoner.
Sniper lady.
Yeah, one's got a sniper
Samurai
rifle.
guy.
Yeah, we've got. He's not samurai guy. They find that, but he's pistol
Yakuza guy.
Yeah, and Adrian Brody has like a fully automatic shotgun, and Danny Trejo carries a pair of SMGs. It's very silly. Like, did the Predators intentionally pick these guys because of their diversity of weapons? It's weird. It's like it is very much like classes from a video game. Anyway, but it was all right. It was a good time. I watched 1998's Godzilla twice over the weekend.
Twice, Matt. I mean, once is questionable. Twice is... I think you're probably the world's biggest Godzilla fan.
I fell asleep watching it on Saturday, and then I was making dinner on Sunday, and my kids were bored, and I was like, well, I was going to finish this movie, but I guess I can just start it over, and I ended up rewatching the whole movie. You know what? I like that movie. It really falls apart in the third act, but I like Matthew Broderick as like a nerdy scientist, and I like Hank Azaria as the crazy cameraman, and I like that T-Rex looking Godzilla design. I don't think it's bad at all. And I liked how it tried to be like more realistic and scientific with Godzilla and less like, he's a monster from space and he fights other monsters or whatever bullshit they're doing now. But then you get the baby Godzilla scene that lasts like 40 minutes and is just the raptor scene from Jurassic Park and is really boring. So it kind of falls apart at the end. But otherwise, it's not a bad movie. And finally, I read a lot of neat comics and stuff.
Yay, what
Neat.
comics?
I guess that's a reference to a commercial that only aired in the Tampa Bay area in the 90s. But anytime I think of
what you're talking
comics, I think Emerald City. They've got a lot of neat comics and stuff. I've been doing a big read through of like some like current runs of DC Comics, and I got to say, like, there's a Superman run going on right now that is really excellent in Action Comics and Superman. This is I read a series of Superman comics by Phil. God damn it, Vanessa. By Philip Kennedy Johnson, who's been writing Action Comics and Superman for the past couple of years, and I was really surprised at how good they were, you know, like, and it really kind of reminded me of the big difference between DC Comics and Marvel Comics, which is that DC Comics tend to be about like hope and like, I don't know, overcoming things. Like it's just, it feels so much different than like the typical stuff I read, like X-Men and Avengers. And it's been pretty great. I read this whole series where Superman goes to Warworld and gets trapped there, and that probably went on for like a year and a half in real time. And that's also when, which you probably have all heard about, when his Superman son, John Kent, replaced him as Superman on Earth. He's the bisexual Superman. And so I read that whole run, and it was just really fantastic. And the latest part of that I read was the Superman John Kent run, where he starts bouncing around alternate dimensions and ends up in the Injustice universe, which I'm not a fan of. And he shows up kind of post all of the Injustice games and stories and stuff, where Superman is still kind of ruling the Earth and all this. And you kind of he kind of slowly puts together what's going on, that this version of his dad is like a fascist who's taken over the world, and you know, tries to sell him this version that, like, I've made the world a much happier and safer place. But he quickly realizes, like, no, everybody's just terrified, and, like, you're wrong, and this is awful. And you think it's going to, like, end up in this big knockdown drag out, and instead it ends with him just, like, hugging his dad to make him see the error of his ways. Aww. And it made me cry tears. Not like it got dusty in here. Like, it made me cry tears. It was so fucking touching. It was so good. And then I also have been reading the Tom Taylor's current Nightwing run, which is just in a similar vein of being just like so uplifting and hopeful and good, and like these are flawed people, but they're doing their best and they're trying to save as many people as they can. And it really has brought me back around to DC Comics being just like a really great experience. Like it's so up and down, and I cannot keep track of DC Comics continuity with their constantly shifting crises where everything gets rebooted, but some things stay the same, and some characters are the same, but some characters are new, or like new versions of themselves. I can't do it. Like, I cannot keep track of it. But this current Dawn of DC thing they've been doing for the last couple of years is really excellent. And if anybody out there is looking for something to read, that those Superman series, it's just Action Comics and Superman, and they're collected in various trades, as well as the John Kent Superman stuff and Tom Taylor's Nightwing stuff, is just so ding dang darn good. Like, I really cannot speak highly of it enough. Really great stuff. And now I'm moving on to the current Batman stuff, which I've heard is pretty good too. We'll see. I haven't gotten through it yet. I guess that's it. That's how I leveled up. A lot of neat comics and stuff. What about you, Johnny?
Well, like Jim, because Jim inspired me. I got Beat Saber because I wanted to do some cardio. That was not at the gym, because I don't like doing cardio machines at the gym because they're super boring. Unlike Jim, I actually am good at this game. But we can't know for sure because the leaderboard function so far is broken on PS5, and I want to know...
Yeah, that's a bummer.
I was watching a trailer for Beat Saber, and it looks fucking hard.
I don't know. I'm good at it.
I want to try it, but I'm worried that it will require me to be too sort of balanced on my feet.
There's squats. I think you can turn pretty much all the elements on or off. So I'm sure you could play it without doing squats. So maybe
you can toggle all.
Maybe in
stuff,
a month or so, when you're a bit more steady on your feet, you could do it and just turn off the squats.
They make me do squats at physical therapy, but I gotta hold on to the ropes for safety.
Yeah. So you're not quite.
I will tell you that, like, when you do Beat Saber at, like, you know, if you're doing it fluidly at the medium level, or I finished my first hard one today, like I said, you feel super cool when you can just go. Boom, boom,
it's like you're doing it
like,
a lot
and all the things. Yeah, it feels super cool.
I still get I do get mixed up sometimes when they cross. When you're crossing, and you got to do the red on the right and the
or
blue on
when
the left.
when the notes are right next to each other, but they're in different directions.
Ooh, yeah.
I sometimes will get the directions confused.
Mm-hmm. But it's definitely a really pretty, really fun game. I enjoy playing it. I have also. I'm almost finished my next video. I've just got to do a couple of. I have some notes from friends who have helped me by watching the video and giving me some feedback. So I'm just going to do those edits and then put all the little labels on it. So it should be out in a day or two. I couldn't finish it last night because I had to play Fallout 3.
What, friends? You didn't ask us to look at your video.
Yeah, I did. I put it in the thing.
Oh.
Yeah, but it was like 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah, well, I didn't do it.
That's okay. Anyway, yeah, that's about it. I don't think I've done anything else exciting. I'm just double checking I haven't seen any movies or anything. No, I was working really hard on that video.
Wait, so you posted a new one to your YouTube?
No, well, in the group chat, there's the rough draft, but I'm almost finished. Then it'll be up, like, in a day or two.
Ew.
Ew.
All right, so, Vanessa,
Yes.
what's this streaming, and are we doing it tomorrow?
Nope, we
Yes.
Oh, wow. I was going to answer, but please go ahead.
I asked Vanessa.
He asked me, but I'm going to talk a lot, like, once the quest log starts, so someone else say it.
Okay, Jim, what's
I have
this
to
streaming,
save
and are we
my
doing it
precious
tomorrow?
Pipes.
You're sitting
Yeah,
there with your eyes
so-
closed. I'm very concerned about you.
We are doing a mostly weekly stream on YouTube on the Square Roots account. Jim, Matt, and Johnny like to go on stream and we live play a classic RPG while we talk to our listeners. Right now we're playing Chrono Trigger. I'm playing Chrono Trigger. You guys are spectating and doing the chit chat while I get my RPG on. That takes place, if you want to join live, it's every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 Central.
Ish.
Ish, yeah. To find it, just go on YouTube, search Square Roots Podcast, and you'll find all of our lives on there. We started it this year. We did a series where Matt played Final Fantasy VI.
Yeah.
I'm playing Chrono Trigger. Next game, John's going to play Phantasy Star 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be
Yeah,
fun.
I'm excited to watch.
So yeah,
I'm excited to watch that because it's a game that I don't really want to play, but I'll be very interested to see. You know.
yeah. So check it out on YouTube. Also, we post our links to every live show in our Facebook group, the Square Roots Podcast group for smart, cool, very attractive people, or it is on our Discord. If you'd like a link to the Discord, just shoot us an email, squarerootspodcast@gmail.com.
Yep. Post it on the Facebook group. Hit us up in the Twitch while we're streaming. That's what happened last time.
Oh, yeah. Find us on the YouTube. Yeah. All right. So without further ado, let's get into the quest log.
Oh, boy.
I don't want to set the quest log on fire. I just want the quest log to love me or something. I can't remember how the song goes now.
I don't
John,
think it's
take
a
it
good
over.
idea to, be singing lullabies at this point. You're already worried about me falling
You're right.
asleep.
I'm sorry. Quest log. I want to read the quest log.
Yeah.
Yay! Bingo,
All right.
bango, bongo.
Well, as you recall, last time we found out that our daddy went to Rivet City after he left GNR Radio. So that means
And Jim
Rivet
has so
City-
much to say about Rivet City that he's never been allowed to say.
I think Matt actually was the first person who was forbade to
Yeah.
speak
He
of
was.
Rivet
It's
City.
But
one
I
of those
am not the
straights.
first person who brought it up on the show, so I appreciate the fact that this has now turned into a Jim problem.
Yeah. So, Jim, here's your big chance. Tell us all about Rivet City. What's it?
It's just a big aircraft carrier. It's a big boat.
Is it a Gothroughmaze?
Is it
It's
Maze
not a
go
go
through?
through maze. It's just like a little settlement that's on a big rusty boat.
I liked this idea of a post-apocalyptic settlement on a big rusty boat. I don't know how practical it would really be, especially since
seems
their
unsafe.
boat is cut in half.
Right.
And metal
And I
does
think that-
rust eventually.
What was the name of the guy? Phineas Macklemore, Pennywise, Guntherson, the guy who says he like created the city and then disappeared, and maybe stuck in a boat.
I don't remember his name, but he is rumored to be stuck in the severed portion of the boat.
He is there. I went there to talk to him in this chunker
I went there too.
because he's a part of the he's a part of the replicated man
Oh,
quest.
is he?
Yeah. But yeah, it doesn't seem like a good idea for a place to have a settlement surrounded by irradiated water, with presumably irradiated water leaking in at all times, on a boat where you can get tetanus from cutting yourself on any surface, presumably. It does not seem like and there's super mutants everywhere. Does not seem like a real good
I don't know.
place to have
I
your
took care of
town.
that super mutant problem. There's no
You
more
took care of the super
mutants.
mutant problem, Johnny. You eliminated every super mutant from the downtown DC area.
Well,
I
the ones
doubt
around the
it.
boat, and it's an aircraft carrier, right? Like, so it's like those things really do carry like 2,000 people. You could totally build a city there, but maybe not if it's cut in half.
Yeah. I guess the one thing it has going for them is when you approach it, you can't get onto it because they do have a working electric drawbridge. So you gotta talk through the intercom and convince your way into the ship.
That's not what happened to me. The drawbridge already went and moved the second I got there, and then I just talked to the guy, and he's like, "What are you doing on this ship?" And I said, "I'm looking for my dad."
Huh. I had to go through the intercom as well.
Weird. I didn't. I don't know why.
Maybe.
Oh, I did too. This is where I got confused because I was trying to find my way into the city and the bridge was not extended, but I had all these friendly the friendly HUD markers around. So I had to this is how I found the guy from last episode, the guy that I made blow himself up in the alley. I was just following friendly quest markers. I ran into that guy, ran into the merchant, ran into a guy begging for water outside of Rivet City that gave me good karma when I gave him fresh water.
Man,
I
I need
friendly
to.
quest markers.
So the green little blips on your compass on your HUD are
the
friendly
little-
HUD markers.
Yeah, they're little
The little
rectangles.
triangles.
They're like green lines.
No,
yeah.
they're not triangles. Those are like doors, I think. They're just like
They're like rectangles.
yeah, they're little lines.
Like a little
Basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about, but I guess I just don't know what you're talking about, so that's fine.
Next time you're standing
They
next to
tell you where NPCs are.
yeah, yeah, exactly. But next time
Okay.
you're standing next to an NPC, you'll see it right in front, in the center of the compass.
Yeah.
I've already finished
true.
the game, so.
Yeah, but you gotta
be
go
happening.
back in there and do this Oasis quest that we're doing next time, Matt.
Why are
telling you
you
right
chewing on my elbow? How does
I'm
that?
not.
What is
I'm
the purpose of
talking.
you?
He doesn't
Maybe.
understand the difference between me talking and chewing on his elbow. He just sees my
Matt's-
mouth moving and assumes I'm chewing his elbow.
Yeah. He's like, I feel some chewing on my elbow. That must be Vanessa. Look, her mouth is moving right now. So,
Yeah.
Matt, are you the
My
one who's
object
going to
permanence
be
is terrible.
the one who saves me by doing the side quest?
I'm
After
not sure what you
all,
mean.
you're my matter wall.
Moving on to something that's entertaining and funny.
Wow.
Oh wow.
Burned. I just burned
John,
you from
I
head
can-
to toe.
okay,
You're a fucking
make that-
smoldering
make that-
ashes.
John, make a variation of that joke again when we do the Oasis quest,
Yeah.
please.
That was
Also,
was the
maybe
joke.
sing it in the maybe do it in the tune of the song so we can understand.
Okay.
Yeah. Maybe do it in a British accent.
This is giving Paul
Today's
notes.
gonna be the day
Paul,
we
give me
won't
Paul
do the
notes.
Oasis.
All right, there we go.
You can't sing it.
All right,
We'll
I get
be
it. I
delisted
get
from
it now.
Spotify.
I get
You're
it
right.
now.
He can sing whatever he wants.
I'll do that subquest next time because it's not for this week. It's for next time.
I've always liked Wonderwall. I think that's a good song.
Yeah.
I like that
That's a good song.
good cover of it that's all slowed down. I don't remember who does that.
Is it like
Ever
in a
shared
movie
the
trailer?
amazing cover of Creep
Where
by
everything's
Scary
slow
Pockets
and
with you
moody?
guys?
I don't think so.
It's fucking fantastic. It's I'll have to find it. It's so good. It's so much
Can I tell you
better
a
than the
secret?
actual
I don't really
song.
like Radiohead.
Well, it's so much better than the Radiohead version of the song that it's like it puts it to shame. Though I also want to say, what are you, a fucking idiot? I really like Radiohead. Get out of here.
I like
Radiohead too.
that version Vanessa made me listen to. They cover all
Yeah.
those songs,
The
including
Dutch
Radiohead.
choir version of Creep. It's the best.
Yeah. It does
got
seem like it
some,
should be played in a slow motion, moody trailer for a video game or movie.
They did. They used it in the trailer for The Social Network.
Oh.
So we head on into Rivet City and take ourselves right to the science lab because
Rivet
if
City?
there's one thing we know about
Gotta be
our...
careful there, you'll croak.
Aww. Aww. Jimmy, this cat will not stop stepping on my
I thought
desk.
you were reacting to my joke, but she was reacting to having a Jack in front of her. Aw, she's giving Jack kisses. Oh.
Look, can you take a look at what her cat's doing and act like that, please? And not
Well,
just
she's
chew
also
on me?
being annoying.
My cat, you are not going to like what he's doing because he is messing up my track a lot.
Well, I'm not editing, so I don't care, you know? Like, when I'm not editing, I love it when the track gets fucked up. It makes me laugh so hard. When I am editing, it's the most infuriating thing that's ever happened. Last week, I threatened to cut Johnny's head off.
It's true. So, we're looking for Dr. Lee because the guy's like, oh yeah, I think he came in here and talked to Dr. Lee. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say, so early on, when I started the game, I kind of looked up some, like, building your character guides just because I wanted some guidance on where to start, really. I didn't end up using it for long, but first 5 levels or so, I was kind of looking at what people suggested for early stuff. And one thing pretty much everybody suggested was walk straight to Rivet City and get that intelligence bobblehead. So that's why I showed up here way fucking early and got the bobblehead. And also the mission the thing just said, like, go to Rivet City, talk to the microphone, the intercom, and they'll let you in. So I don't know. Like, I'm sure John's right that you can just probably do it some other way.
I don't know. It was weird. I think maybe I did click on I didn't have to like choose any dialogue for sure. It just like, maybe I said hello and he's like, oh, hold on, I'll swing the gate. And then I talked to him.
I
on the other
definitely-
side.
I definitely kept a bottle of purified water on me at all times so that I could always give that guy some water when I... And I didn't know
Yeah.
they gave you good karma. I just...
After killing everyone
felt
in that vault,
bad.
I need to rebuild all my karma. I feel like there's
Yeah, same. That guy will give you a good, like, 5 points of good karma
Yeah.
every time you give him water. So
So, yeah, I guess we'll have to find out if they were dead for real. Vanessa will be able to tell me.
Who
She
was
was-
dead?
Oh, don't worry
We'll talk about it
Vanessa.
at the end of the
We'll talk
chunker,
about it
and
at the
yes,
end of
they
the
definitely
episode.
were.
Whoops.
So we go and talk to Dr. Lee. She's not the friendliest lady.
Well, her
No,
assistant's
these people
worse.
have no patience for you. They think you're a fucking moron.
Yeah. Although she
She
does
was
kind
Dr.
of
Lee was
know
more
right
friendly
away.
than her assistant. Her assistant was like, "Ugh, you want to go talk? I didn't really get to know your dad. He didn't talk to me. He just talked to stupid Dr. Lee." And she was busy dealing with this guy trying to find his lost robot.
Yes, there's a guy there yelling at her
Metal Man.
about his lost robot.
Yeah.
He's from the
seems like a real
Commonwealth.
dick.
He is from the Commonwealth. Which Commonwealth? Who can say?
Vanessa, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Do you think that, like, they planned that? Because this is like a backdoor
Man.
pilot for Fallout 4,
Yeah.
kind of.
Yeah.
So, like, do you think they planned it this
Yeah,
way?
I do.
Johnny
Okay.
does.
I don't know.
I do.
I mean, they're both
I don't have any
Bethesda, right?
knowledge.
Yeah.
Mhm. It would make sense.
Yeah, but it's not. It doesn't. It's not a very. The scope of the quest is not very big, and the implications of it are not felt in the remainder of the story.
Right.
So
Well, because Fallout 3 was sort of a new thing for Bethesda to take on, they probably didn't even know if they'd get to make a 4 or not.
That's a fair point.
you think they were laying the groundwork, hoping that was something that they could expand
they
upon?
were probably putting a little
That
tiny
makes more sense to
seed,
me.
and then they're like, "We'll see."
Yeah. I hope we can pay that off
I
later.
mean, I feel like most of the side quests don't have much bearing on the rest of the game.
It's true.
That's not unique to this one.
Yeah, but you would think that if they were planning, because this side quest is kind of the plot of the entirety of Fallout 4, a little
A little
bit,
microcosm of the plot.
yeah, it's a big, like, the themes of it are the themes of Fallout 4.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and so, like, it's weird that it's such a small scope thing in the context of the larger plot when it's the entire thing in Fallout 4, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah. But I kind of like that. Like, it seemed like a cool little setup for 4.
Yeah, I can see that. Okay.
It's possible that they just made that quest and then they were like, that was cool, let's do more of that.
Could be.
Yeah, be like, where can we set the next game? Oh, well, we already mentioned Commonwealth. What could that mean?
Yeah, and there was a robot. But
Yeah, there were
yeah,
androids.
although it is brought up again later in the game, and we'll get to that eventually. I think that's only if you have the DLC, actually. They do mention it again.
Oh, okay. Must have been after Fallout 4 was green lighted when they were making that DLC.
Yeah,
and
maybe.
they're like, okay, we can do more with that.
So we talked to Dr. Lee. She clocks us right away as James's son and or daughter, and tells us, yeah, he was here. We worked on Project Purity together way back into the day until he left because of you, stupid baby. She seems to have a lot of resentment about that.
Yeah, she does. It's weird. Like, his wife died giving childbirth. And
Yeah,
he
in
wanted to
childbirth.
go
And then he went to
care
go
of his
raise
child.
the baby somewhere safe.
I guess that's kind of spoilers for later in the game, but
Yeah. But she's like, our big dream was to build a giant water purifier and give everyone nice purified water.
The logic that they explain their technology with makes no sense. They'd be like, well, it's capable of irradiating like 100 million gallons of water at once. How? I don't know.
Yeah.
But it doesn't.
It just does.
It just says we need this thing to do it. It just doesn't.
Yeah. It's just like it's like a virus for water, and then
Yeah.
once
Yeah,
water's
this
clean,
is
the other water
this
gets
is a
clean.
classic MacGuffin.
Yeah.
Where they don't really have to explain it. It's just a thing that people want to move the plot
Yep.
forward.
And you get a reference to the GEC. The GEC from Fallout 1.
The GEC.
That's exciting. We all, of course, remember the GEC from Fallout 1. It was
Nope.
that game's
The-
MacGuffin.
The GEC being the terraforming technology.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh,
So I
wait, I
guess
thought the GEC was the water chip. Or is the... Oh, is GEC Fallout 2? Maybe GEC was Fallout
it might have been
2.
Fallout 2. Yeah.
I haven't played Fallout 2.
GEC might have been Fallout 2.
Which we have not played for the show. And will
But we will.
not. Oh.
Yes, we will.
But we
No, we
will. We won't. Will we or won't we? Oh,
look,
it's
the
such a
best
will we or
possibility
won't
we have
show.
of playing it is Johnny putting it up for a vote. And if he does, I'm going to put fucking Final Fantasy VII up again or something just to
God.
ruin it.
Jackass.
Oh, God.
That's what Vanessa does to me every time. Here's an interesting game I think we could play. Here's Fallout.
Aw.
Fallout always wins.
People love Fallout.
I mean, Fallout's lost, I think, more times than it's won. It's lost in a bunch
Yeah,
of
you
votes.
just have recency bias, Matt.
You might be right. You might be right.
Fallout's enjoying a golden age because of the success of its television show.
I couldn't be happier that it
Renaissance.
won this vote, though, because I enjoyed this game so fucking much.
I'm so happy that you
Seems
did.
cool.
It just delights me to no end.
Yeah, I'm excited to get around to playing 4 eventually, too. I'll wait for it until we do it for the show, though, but for sure. Now I'm a
So,
Fallout boy. Just not 1 or
Dr.
2, because those are garbage games.
Oh. You hate that top-down isometric gameplay.
I really do.
So Dr. Lee tells us James was there. He wanted her to go back to Project Purity with him, but she would not go because it doesn't work. But she tells us that Project Purity is at the Jefferson Memorial.
Ooh,
Or
and so this is a
monument,
real
depending on how
building.
you
It's a
look at
real rotunda.
It is. Yeah. I've never actually been there, but if you are taking the metro from DC into
Geodectory?
Virginia, it goes
You're
right
a real
next to it,
rotunda.
basically. You get a really good view of it.
Vanessa once called me a real rotunda before she pushed me into a mud puddle.
Yeah.
And then she started playing her tuba.
Yeah.
But before we leave Rivet City to go look for our dad, we can meet some of its interesting inhabitants.
Like
Johnny,
Polly
you want to tell
can-
us about your friend Polly?
Yeah, so I was walking around, looking for... I hadn't found Dr. Lee yet, and this guy, Polly Cantelli, walks up to me. He's wearing some cool gear, some real, engineer in the wasteland kind of Mad Max gear.
Oh, like
And
cool
he
guy
come-
clothes.
Yeah, and he comes up to me, he's like, hey, man, do you got any psycho? I could really use a fix. I'm like, what? You like drugs? He's like, yeah, I love drugs, because, I'm a drug dealer, and I have lots of drugs, but I can't get high on my own supplies, so, I need yours. Okay. So I gave him some psycho, and he goes to the next room, and you just hear, and then I turn around, he just slumps over, he's dead.
All right.
Wow.
Now, are you sure you didn't give him Super Psycho from the
No, I
Ghouls
just
by Airflow?
I just
I
gave
still
him
haven't
regular.
finished that quest.
He just died, and but he does have a key to his apartment, which is full of the most drugs you'll ever find in the game. There's so many drugs in that apartment.
Well, this is a good lesson for everyone. No matter how many times you've taken a drug, each time could be your last.
Well, probably Johnny laced his Psycho with fentanyl, and that's why.
Sounds like something Johnny would do, just as a joke.
Just for funsies.
Yeah.
Well, and also to make a little extra profit. You cut it. Fentanyl's cheap.
So, did you meet? There's this one lady in the market, and she's just real mad all the time. And I'm like, what? You're drinking at 2 a.m.? And she's like, shut the fuck up and get out of my way. I'm like, you don't have to be such a bitch. Which is
When the fuck are you supposed to
literally-
drink, Johnny? What's wrong with drinking at 2 a.m.? That's the perfect time for drinking.
or 2 p.m., whichever. Anyway, I told her that.
Also
she's
the
like-
perfect time for drinking. Excuse me,
Yeah.
Mr. Judgmental.
And she's
2
like,
p.m. is the
well,
brunch of
my
lunchtime."
husband's dead, and I have to raise this stupid brat alone. And her kid was running around being a real hellion. But, geez, lady, get your act together. I wish I had a speech function to lecture her or something. But I don't have any
it's-
points in speech.
This is making me realize that I didn't really do a lot of the little side quests here in Rivet City. I'm kind of bummed. I did Robot and Missing Dude, but I think that's it. I kind of
There's
ignored all
also
this stuff.
there's an old man with a terrible museum, and his exhibit. So he has a museum of
Yeah.
real pieces. I think he has the Constitution on the wall. He scavenged a bunch of real bits of history, but he doesn't
Yeah.
quite know how everything goes together. And I was reading his description of things, and any president who's not Abraham Lincoln, he talks about how this president's just an idiot and nowhere near as smart as Abraham Lincoln.
It's nice
Did
though.
you like?
Kind of like
Did
that.
you like those exhibits, Vanessa?
I love
think
them.
it's a bias thing where he has the history that he can find around him in DC. You know what I mean?
And I
The
feel like
Lincoln
his name really
Memorial
isn't Abraham Washington, but that's what he calls himself. And he
Well,
does seem
just
to get
because you're
the
a fan
facts
of
and
Lincoln, it
numbers
doesn't
wrong.
make you a Lincoln.
Well, he's not a Lincoln. He's called himself Abraham Washington.
That's what I'm
He
saying.
also starts a quest that's amazing where we have to go steal the Declaration of Independence.
Yeah, he's a real Nick Cage for this Declaration of Independence.
Just have to fight some super mutants.
And
just
and
wants
meet
to
the
be
best
Superman.
robot in the game.
I didn't get to do this
Yes.
quest, but I want to hear all about it, and I will do it this week.
You will hear about it very soon. But is there anything else we want to talk about in Rivet City before we head out to find our dad / steal the Declaration of Independence?
Well,
I mean,
that
I noticed
one lady-
that one of the things you've written says seduce a priest, and I would like to know more.
Yes.
There's a lady who's really into this priest. Or he's not even a priest. He's an
No,
acolyte.
she's into the acolyte or altar boy or whatever. he
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
I think he's training to be a priest, maybe.
Yeah. I'm like, you two should get together, but I didn't have any speech, so I couldn't really convince. I can't convince anyone of anything. It's just not a viable path for my character.
You gotta convince them with your strength by flexing at them.
Yeah.
Ooh, I do like to do that.
Be like, be strong in love, like me.
I broke the coffee pot at work because I was scrubbing it. I was scrubbing the coffee pot, and they're like, we had a team meeting yesterday, and like, how did you break the coffee pot? And I said, well, I am very strong. And sometimes I don't know the limits of my own strength.
Wow. Everyone's mad at John for breaking the coffee pot.
Well, then they're talking about how there's 2 bathrooms, and they're wondering if they wanted to, like, the girls to have their own bathroom. And all the girls were like, yeah, I don't really care. They're all the same. And and I said in the meeting, I was like, yeah, but listen, if I'm going to annihilate a bathroom, it's only going to be the blue one, just out of respect.
Aw. That's very noble of you, Johnny.
It's gotta be tough working in a small office like that. Like, I get to go when I'm in the office. I always make sure I go like up a couple floors or down a couple floors and destroy those bathrooms, and not the one on my floor. Now, the people that work on those floors above and below me, they're probably not happy about it, but I don't know them and I don't care about them.
I used to work on the Yahoo campus, and the 2 out of 3 of the floors of that building were hollowed out except for the bathrooms. So I just go up there, and like it was all under construction, but I could use the bathrooms, and then I didn't feel so bad because no one's there.
That's kind of the plot of a whole episode of Detroiters.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that actually was very similar to my office, where the 5th floor was under construction for a long time. So that was the pooping bathroom, basically.
Oh,
Yeah, the 2 protagonists of the show, there's an empty floor in their building. That's where they always go to poop. And then some company rents it out and they have nowhere to poop.
Matt, you'll be happy to know Julia, my coworker at my meeting, said,
Louise
"Oh,
Dreyfus?
yeah.
Love her.
This is actually word for word the plot of I think you could leave. It's Always Sunny episode. I don't know, but you might know the episode she's talking
Yeah,
about.
I do. Yeah. It's the opposite, though. They have a men and women's bathroom, and they decide to change them both to unisex. And then I think they also try to put a glory hole in one. It gets real weird. That show's amazing. That show's fantastic.
I worked in an office
show.
once, and we were working 10 hours a day, 6 days a week. So we were there like all the time. And at one point, all of the women got called into this room, and the female supervisor was like, we have a lot of problems and complaints from this building because someone here is a hover peer and is not like cleaning up after herself after she hovers over the toilet and pees on it. And we had that meeting twice. Like, the first meeting was not enough to shame whoever was doing it into stopping that behavior. And it's like, we had to use the bathroom while we were there because we were working so much. And I guess whoever it was, and I do not know who it was, could never, like, bring herself to put her delicate bottom onto the toilet.
I mean, even with an 8-hour shift, I assume you're gonna pee once or twice.
Yeah. Oh,
I
or
got over that.
clean up her
I got
own
over that a
pee
long
after
time
she
ago.
peed on the toilet.
I got over that a long time ago, where I would like put down all like a bunch of little paper thingies and be like, my butt can't touch this porcelain, and then I I hit a point where I was just like, I don't care anymore. Like, I will
Yeah.
very quickly pull off a small thing of toilet paper and like foot rub down the
Yeah,
toilet
if there's,
seat,
if
and then
there's
I don't give a
detritus on the
shit.
seat, I'm gonna remove it. But otherwise, who the fuck cares?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't
your
care.
skin is not like you don't just
No.
absorb germs through your skin,
No.
you know, on contact. So
But I don't want to sit on somebody's pee-pee or doo-doo.
Yeah,
Nobody
you
wants
quickly
that,
like
Yeah,
if
you-
if it's gross, I'm not touching it. But like if it's a little gross, like I'll just grab some toilet paper and wipe it down.
Yeah,
with my
and then
footsie.
just drink.
I do that
Oh.
too. Yeah.
When I was cleaning up at from the cabin, and I noticed all the drink bottles that Teddy had all had like a little bit of soda left. So I need to ask him if.
Oh, did you drink it?
No, but I think he,
He
must.
combined them all into one drink.
No,
to
Yeah, he combined them
Tied
all
him
into
over
one
on
I
the
bottle.
assume that he won't
And then
drink it
chugged it.
because he doesn't drink the last tiny bit of a bottle because he thinks it's backwash.
It
Y'all
is backwash,
are-
Johnny. You
He
just
is a
said
mix-
you think it's backwash, but it is backwash.
He is American, so you guys drool into your bottles. Anyway,
I don't do this though, Johnny.
This
I've
might just
never
be like
heard
a
of this.
millennial Gen Z thing where we just have heard enough about how when you drink from something,
and
you
if you
always
eat
spit a little
gum,
back in.
it'll stay in your stomach for 7 years.
Oh, my aunt tried to convince me of that for years. My favorite thing as a kid was Big League Chew because I would just eat it like candy. Like,
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, me too. I always thought the idea of gum getting stuck in your body would be funny because what if that blob worked its way to like your sphincter and you blew like a bubble when you were trying to go poop?
I legit had an aunt that tried to convince me that she had surgery to remove like a giant thing of gum from her stomach. And I flat out, even as a kid, was like, I don't believe you.
Yeah, that sounds fake.
Wait, who's Sydney?
We'll get to her right now.
Okay.
Oh, I didn't like tell you the end of the story about the priest and the lady. So,
Yeah.
if you have a good speech, the lady will ask you to help her seduce the priest by getting some ant queen pheromones. And
Just to be clear, so it's not the
Oh, you
priest,
should already have
it's
some.
the altar boy.
Yep. And by boy we mean he's a grown man.
Yeah, he's a grown.
yeah.
So if you have some of those, she rubs them
Diego.
all up over herself, and then they can get married.
But why did you seduce him?
You're seducing him on her behalf. You know,
With drugs.
it's a seduction
You know.
via proxy.
With drugs, you know, like how it's okay to seduce people with drugs, according to Vanessa.
right, Bill
It's
Cosby.
called perfume, and they sell it in literally every store.
Pheromones.
All right.
So
yeah.
stealing the Declaration of Independence. We talked
love
about
this.
Abraham Washington a little bit. He wants us to steal the Declaration of Independence from the archives, which is where it lives in real life, and you can go there and visit it and look at it in its nice little rotunda. He says
Stop
that he
bullying
has...
me.
I'm not bullying you. Oh, because I called you a
She's-
rotunda.
Because I've got the Declaration of Independence on the shirt that I'm wearing, so she's...
Yeah. But you also have a lot of other writing, like, yes, I'm an American. I love Jesus.
Where were
guns,
you on
and
Jan
the
6? I know where
Declaration
I
of
was.
Independence.
Trump 2024, obviously it says.
No, you've
Mega,
moved
mega,
on
mega.
to what's his face? The
RFK
one with-
Jr. 2024.
Yeah, RFK Jr.
You're right.
Yeah.
I'm the thinking man's.
Did
you read that,
I'm the
God.
thinking man's modern conservative.
That's libertarian bait right there. If you describe yourself as the thinking man's anything, libertarian dudes will be like, oh, that sounds like it's for me.
I do like to think.
Did you read that that Danica Patrick, who was once in a Sonic racing game, now has a channel where she says lizard people run the government?
That name sounds
I
familiar.
didn't
Pretty
read about
cool.
that, but
Patrick.
I've heard about this.
She
lizard
was the
people.
really
she's
hot
the
race
race
car
car
lady.
Yeah, she was really hot.
You're right, he
hot
said
race
that.
car lady.
I mean, she's hot enough. Maybe lizard people do run everything.
Yeah.
She is single,
Do you think she'd smooch me if I believed her?
probably.
Yeah, I don't know if she might get upset if you use tongue, because then she'll be like, lizard.
Well, Matt's tongue isn't forked.
Yet.
Hey, baby, you ever had your asshole eaten by a fat man in a trench coat?
What? Is that a Kevin Smith thing?
It is.
Oh, is that
It
more Kevin
is
Smith?
Kevin
don't
Smith.
make this
Happy
the Kevin Smith
420.
episode. We don't need one of those.
Look, even
That's
if
a
he
good
used to
line,
do
though.
that,
My brother and I used to yell at each other all the time. It's the craziest fucking thing I've ever heard.
Did you guys wear trench coats?
No. I remember I knew one guy in the 2000s that did wear a trench coat around, and I remember being at the movies with my brother one day, and I saw him and his girlfriend walk in, and he was in his fancy trench coat, and he, like, you know how, like, movie theaters sometimes will have, like, one side you can't really access, you can only go up, and it'll have, like, not barrack, what's one sort, like, poles down where you can't cross. And I saw him walk in and see the thing and, like, jump over it. And I yelled down at him. He didn't know we were there. I just yelled down at him, like, "Nice jump, Neo!" That's so fucking
LoadJump.exe, nerd.
I mean, he did then recognize that it was me, and we had a good laugh over it, but...
That's good stuff.
So
Even
we're
if
going to
Kevin-
steal the Declaration of Independence.
Yes. We are told by Abraham that he had sent someone else to go get it, but they didn't come back, so it's pretty dangerous. And we should, just watch ourselves when we're there. You get to the archives, there's a lot of kind of traps around, and if you make your way to the rotunda, you will run into Sydney. Yes, Matt?
I have a question.
Yes.
Just for clarity for the listeners, whenever Vanessa says, "Yes, Matt," that means I've raised my hand. Is Sydney a companion? Will she stick with you?
For the duration of this quest only.
Oh, so I was like, I had not managed to pick up any companions by this point, and then when she kind of joined me and followed me around, I was very excited about it. Because I thought, like, first real companion of the game. And then she ran upstairs and got herself killed by super mutants immediately.
Oh, no.
Instantly. I walked into a room where there were, like, holes in the floor, and they were shooting down at us. And I was shooting back at them and throwing grenades and stuff and couldn't figure out, like, I didn't see stairs. I was like, how do I get up there? And then I got the notification, like, Sydney has died.
Aww. So I sort of went a circuitous route and cleared all of the super mutants out before I really talked to her. And then when you talk to her, she says, "Get over here, get to the middle of the room, watch your step because there's lots of mines around."
Yeah, that's really annoying.
But if you get over to her, she's like, "Help me, make a stand against these super mutants." Some of them will sort of rush your position, but you and she can shoot them pretty easily. And then if you talk to her again, she'll tell you that on her computer, well, if you agree to help her, basically she's like, "Let's get the declaration, we'll split the reward money, it'll be great." If you agree to this, she'll tell you to go to her computer, and if you enter in her secret password, which she provides to you, it will open up a elevator in the middle of the floor here.
Ooh.
And if you do that,
fuck
you can
that up.
avoid going, like, through the super mutant area. Yeah. Sounds like you did, Matt. But, that's life in the wasteland.
Is that in the main room where you meet her?
Yes.
That she's mined? Wow,
Yeah.
I really did. I looked around thinking that it must be in that room, didn't find the computer, went to the next room, and then she went and got herself killed.
Oh, sad. Well, after either taking the secret elevator or you can make your way to, I guess, a stairwell that also goes to the basement, you find a underground basement full of robots. There's a lot of turrets down here, too. If you have good hacking skills, it comes in handy very much. I had the perk Robotics Expert, which lets you shut down a robot if you sneak up on it.
Oh, nice.
And that is very handy.
I found the hacking in this game after playing New Vegas, where if you remember, listeners, if you remember from New Vegas, it took me like half the game to understand it. But once I did, then in this game, I really never had a problem hacking anything at all. It's really simple once you figure it out. Like, I never fucked up. I never fucked a hack up.
I wonder what Johnny's experience has been playing Fallout now that he understands how the hacking works.
Well, this time I haven't put any points into science, so I'm not hacking anything.
Oh,
But it should still be. It's the same game. Like there's more. I think there's more possible answers.
You can't actually.
You have to have a certain level to access certain level.
I just want to play the
terminals.
game differently this time and not
I
lean
understand.
on all those things. Yeah.
I don't know if this is different than New Vegas, but I felt like it was. I could be wrong. But both the lockpicking and the hacking, I felt like in New Vegas, it was way more forgiving on if your number wasn't high enough, you could still try it. And in this, early on, I hit a lot of walls where it was like, well, your lockpicking has to be 100 to touch this. And I was like, I'm 10 hours into this game. That's impossible.
Yeah, I guess you can always go back to different locations. But why would you? So we make our way through these robots.
For like 3 stim packs and a box of bullets, the rewards in this game kind of suck.
As we're making our way through, we hear some dialogue over the sort of intercom system about how they've been breached and the enemy is on the way, and stand up for the USA and don't ever let the English win.
It's the Redcoats, right?
Yep, don't let the Redcoats win. And if we pick our way through the hallways to the main room, we get to open up the door, and there we meet one of our actual founding fathers, American hero, Button Gwinnett.
Button Gwinnett.
Johnny, what do you know about Button Gwinnett? Johnny has a very blank expression on his face. It's almost as if he didn't take American history as a child.
That's the card game from Witcher 3, right?
Yep. Button Gwinnett is, of course, was the representative of Georgia to the Continental Congress.
The founding father.
Yeah, founding father. And the second signator of the Declaration of Independence. Johnny.
Also relevant to Florida history when he was killed in a duel for trying to invade Florida.
Yeah.
Just to be clear, this robot is wearing a delightful powdered wig.
Oh, yeah, you've given away that it is a robot. It was not actually Button Gwinnett. Johnny, here's a American trivia question for you. Do you know who the first signatory of the Declaration of Independence was?
I bet he does, because it asks you in this game.
Yeah, it does ask you in this game if you played the
No,
trivia.
but he doesn't. He's not a science boy, so maybe he wasn't even allowed to access the computers.
Jefferson?
Nope.
No.
Was it Herbie Hancock?
Close
No,
enough.
but that's a
Hancock?
good clue. Yeah, it was John Hancock.
Yay! And he didn't leave enough space for the other people, right?
Yeah, and that's why people will use it as slang, like, put your John Hancock on this document.
Yeah, I mean, that's why people did use it as slang 100 years ago. Obviously, today we would not say that. We would say, slap your glizzy on this.
Slappy a glizzy on this. That's the episode title.
Button Gwinnett was actually born in England, so he is a true blue revolutionary. Came over here and decided to cut all ties to his own homeland.
This is pretending like she had ever heard of this person before she played this game.
Nobody's ever heard of Button Gwinnett.
Nobody's ever heard of Button Gwinnett.
I feel like it's worth noting that this past weekend I learned what a glizzy was and told the rest of the hosts what a glizzy
I'm sorry that you got
is.
clowned by a fucking Gen Alpha,
And
but that's not the case.
Matt, I keep asking Matt to verify with his kids. Be like, what is a glizzy? And they
I'll
would
get
tell
Connor
you exactly
in here
what I told
right
you.
now.
Do it. Ask him what a glizzy
it.
is.
Put him on
Here we
the
go.
air.
Finally happening.
I want Connor live on air telling us what a glizzy is. I'm not going to influence him by implying that it sounds gross.
The only people I've heard talk about glizzies are you three. I don't know about this.
I have never heard this term except from Jim, and
It's a real thing. I verified with my 14-year-old.
she's trolling you. This is the 14-year-old.
She's
who,
not trolling
She trolls
me.
you all the time. She sent you a picture of Weezer and told you you'd gotten Weezered.
You know what she got me for my birthday? A T-shirt that's blue and it has the band Weezer on it, like the Blue album art. That's my birthday present.
I'm going to give Connor
great.
one of my AirPods.
Amazing.
Okay. Connor, hello. I would like you to explain for us and for the listeners of the show what, if anything, is a glizzy.
It's like a hot dog. Yeah,
Whoa!
Whoa.
There it is.
Oh, thank you so much, Connor. We didn't believe Jim when he told us.
What did you think it was?
I thought he made it up.
Nothing.
And we refused
I thought he
to
made
believe
it
I
up.
thought I made it up.
What did you guys think?
We thought that he was being fooled by his daughter.
Yeah, we thought she
mean,
made it up to fool him.
Can you explain why it's called a glizzy?
Oh, because little kids are weird.
Yeah, that's true.
I can explain it according to Urban Dictionary because I Googled it extensively before using it in conversation.
Why would you use it in conversation?
Glizzy used to be slang for gun, and that eventually morphed its way as a joke into being a hot dog.
Huh.
Sounds made up.
So
I like
Okay.
Connor's explanation
not
better.
according to Urban
Thank you,
Dictionary.
Connor.
Thank you, Connor.
Thank you, Connor.
Thanks, Connor.
This has been Teen Talk with Connor.
He has a really cool Chicago Bulls shirt that I'm kind of jealous
Connor's
of.
cooler than any of us. And he just gets cooler by the day. He rides in on his skateboard
does.
with his backward baseball cap, and he's like,
He is like the Bart Simpson of like the show Ecosphere.
he is, and he's like, skippity toilet glizzy, and then rides away.
Yeah.
Yeah, he rode away on his scooter.
Yeah. He's skateboarding on the scooter. He like has it, he's balancing on the skateboard on top of a scooter.
What are those things that people stand on that propel them
A
forward?
Segway.
What are those things called? No, the like ones
the
that are just like
hoverboard.
two wheels that you
Yeah.
hoverboard slash skateboard slash
Yeah.
scooter.
And he has wheelies in his shoes. He has those like wheelie
Oh,
heel shoes.
heelys.
Yeah, heelys.
Wheelie heel shoes. Oh my god, that's what are them wheelie heel shoes?
He's got them wheelie heel shoes.
Oh, he's gliding everywhere.
Yeah, he's giving the peace sign. And he has a
I think he called me a
he
glizzy.
called me a glizzy, and he has a red vine hanging out of his mouth like a cigarette.
Red vine.
So there's
Oh,
many
man.
different ways we can deal with Button Gwinnett. The way I chose was to tell him that I am Thomas Jefferson, and I'm here to take the Declaration of Independence back to the Continental Congress because we have won against the Redcoats.
I failed that speech check. He did not.
Oh
believe me.
no! Well, I succeeded, and Button was very relieved, and he says, I think after all this time, I just need a rest, and he shuts himself down.
Yay!
Yay! So what happened with you, Matt, by failing the speech check?
Well, I got an additional bonus side quest.
Oh!
He asked me. I told him that I needed a copy of the Declaration of Independence and that it was in danger, and so he asked me to help him forge a copy of the Declaration of Independence for the quote-unquote Redcoats, which sent me on a side quest to the, I don't remember the name of the building, the National Library. And so I went there, where it was being held by Brotherhood, and I did meet a lady who would buy pre-war books, non-destroyed or burned pre-war books for 100 caps, which made me a lot of money throughout the rest of this game. I told them what was going on. I had to help them clear the National Library of super mutants. And then I got he needed ink and a quill and something, parchment, something else. So I was able to find all of that in the library and then take it back to Robo Button Gwinnett, who then created a perfect replica of the Declaration of Independence, which I then took back to what's-his-face at Rivet City and sold him that instead. And he bought it, and it was amazing.
Wow.
It was fucking fantastic. I sided with the robot, okay? He was funny, and he made me laugh, and I was like, I'm not going to kill him. I couldn't talk him into giving it to me. So instead, I went on a whole extra side quest, and then what I really liked about it was selling, hang on, I got to bring the notes back up. Selling Abraham Washington a fake Declaration of Independence, because I'll tell you what, maybe keeping, historical important documents on your sinking fucking boat is a bad idea. So
Yeah.
I was very much like, fuck this guy. He's a dumbass. Fuck this idiot. And do you know where it's probably going to be safe? Protected by all these deadly robots in a basement under the National Archives.
Yeah, it's
I had a
been
bit of
safe there for
like, I had
200 years.
Yeah, I had a bit of like a weird patriotic feeling to this where I was like, fuck this dude. I'm not giving him this thing. He's a fucking idiot.
Well, I brought him the real thing, and I also brought him a copy of the Bill of Rights and the Magna Carta.
I did find the Bill of Rights. I didn't find the Magna Carta. I bet he pays you for it all, so... This was early in the game here. I was hurting for caps because I was going through so many bullets and stim packs, and I don't know how else you're supposed to get this stuff. I mean, this was after... No, I did Riley's Rangers after all this because I had to go back and do that after the first episode. So I had already done all this already. So I was really hurting for that stuff, and, anything that made me money, I was into. I sold sugar bombs and scrap metal and pre-war books like it was my fucking profession, like it was my job.
So after we drop off the Declaration or the Fake-laration of Independence, we are off to see our dad at the Jefferson Memorial. This place is also overrun by super mutants, like everywhere else in the world. There's not a lot to talk about with the Jefferson Memorial at the moment. We get there, there's tons of super mutants, we find Project Purity, which is sort of built around the statue of Jefferson. Like, they built a big water tank, and he's in the middle of it. And we find some voice recordings from our dad, who says, hey, I left the vault, I don't know if it's the right choice, but I gotta try to make this work. I need a GEC. Vault 101, which I left, didn't have one, but I think maybe there'll be one in Vault 12, and that's where I'm headed next. And we learned that we can access it through Smith's Casey's garage. Yes, 112. I apologize.
I gotta say, I'm glad that I watched the Fallout show before I played this, because the Fallout show really copies this dad stuff very...
It really does, yeah.
It's not the exact same. They didn't adapt Fallout 3, but it's basically the same plot.
There's a lot of similar notes. It just goes in different directions.
Yeah, well, but it's the same thing with your dad, you think that you were raised in this vault, but then you learn that your parents aren't actually from the vault, which you don't think is possible because, the whole ecosystem of the vault lies to you your whole life and tells you nobody's allowed in. And this is the exact same stuff.
Yeah.
So on the way... go ahead.
No, please, John.
On the way to Vault 112. You know, it's a bit of a march if you haven't been around that side of the map yet.
Yeah, it was a haul for me.
All the way west. You do run into, I think it's called like Eversprings. There's a big mine, basically. I don't know if you ran into it. I ran into it.
I think I avoided that. Is it?
Yeah,
is
you
it
can
in like
easily
a
avoid it.
canyon? Is it in like a
Yeah,
canyon?
it's in a canyon.
Is it
Yeah.
filled with
with the
raiders?
railroad
Yes,
track
yeah.
things.
So
Yeah,
Jim,
I kept
you'd
getting shot
understand
at by
this.
raiders and was like, I'm not going through there. Like, oh man, I
I've
never went
done
back
that.
either. I should have.
I got totally sidetracked there. It can suck like a couple hours of your life getting
Yeah,
through
there's
that
a
thing.
lot
So
of
I went
buildings.
way around it this time.
But Jim, I Furiosa'd that place with my snipe because I have never. Matt reminded me last episode, and I haven't done it until this playthrough or this part of the playthrough. You can buy ammo, so I just like bought a lot of ammo for my sniper rifle, and then just went, just took
Nice.
out everybody in one hit. It was amazing, and also you can shoot this generator which lets a behemoth out, which is pretty funny.
oh,
Yeah.
Like a
cool.
super mutant behemoth?
Yes.
Oh, that's fun.
And
You
then
know,
just
that's-
like
I- we
rampages
talked about-
around.
I mentioned this last week, but that super mutant behemoth never. Or no, I'm sorry, I'm stupid. I mentioned this last week, but that sniper rifle never really worked for me. Like, I don't like. I guess I just wasn't set up for it right. I don't know.
I have really high luck, so that helps a lot. I think because I get if you get a critical with that thing, it one shots pretty much everything. And and I have, but we both have the whole, holding a weapon with two hands, you get a bonus thing, and also if you're crouching, you get a bonus. So, and if it's a sneak attack, which is useful with the sniper rifle, then you get 3 times damage too, which is
Yeah, that was part of my
fantastic.
problem was that like my sneak was so low this whole game that I couldn't sneak up on a fucking sleeping. I couldn't sneak up on somebody asleep. Like I got spotted by everybody everywhere all the time. It was like I had a spotlight on me.
Yeah.
So I did keep my Pip-Boy light on a lot accidentally. So maybe I did have a
You
spotlight
don't
on
have
me.
that suit reminding you to turn it off like you did in the Big Empty, where she's like, "You left your lights on."
Oh yeah, that got annoying, but it is useful when you like
Yep.
don't have it. You're like, oh yeah, Pip-Boy lights on.
So I didn't do the
Actually,
whole dungeon
in this
thing 'cause
game-
that can take a while.
When you transition areas, it always automatically turns your light off. I realized that.
That's helpful.
But I always turned it back on because I need it because I'm blind.
Well, on my way to Vault 112, I stopped at Tenpenny Tower.
I saw it. I was like, I bet that's the tower Vanessa wants me to go to. I'll go to it later. But
So
tell me
this
about it.
reminded
Choice.
me- Tenpenny Tower reminded me that I did get further in this game than I said in the first episode, because I do remember playing. I thought I must be mixing things up, and there was something like I had gotten in something I had done in Fallout 4, because I did play a bit of that as well, but no. I remember being at Tenpenny Tower and setting off the bomb in Megaton.
You monster.
Because I remember sitting on that balcony with the guy whose name I can't remember.
Mr. Tenpenny.
Yeah, Mr. Tenpenny. So like I did play a little more of this game than I thought I had. Anyway, yeah, Tenpenny Tower. You get this. This is part of the guy whose name I can't remember, the ghoul in the underworld who wants you to kill 4 people.
Yeah.
And one of them
Crowley.
is Tenpenny. Yeah, Crowley wants you to kill Tenpenny. So I had already done the rest of that quest. So when I ran across this, I was very excited because it meant I could finish that quest up.
Were you excited to kill Tenpenny or to find a different way to resolve that quest?
Well, I found a different way to resolve it. But you did die.
So as we're approaching the gate, we see a ghoul named Roy Phillips talking through the intercom, and he wants to come in and live in the tower. They tell him that he can't because of his skin condition. They don't want him living there.
These people are like real. Well, not all of them. Like the guards are just doing their jobs, but like these people are real like anti-ghoul
Yeah.
bigots, I guess. Like they They don't want anything to do with the ghouls who are
Yeah.
scraping a living out in the sewers nearby.
They remind me a little bit of the White Glove Society people from New Vegas, just because they want to be fancy. They're trying to fancy it up in Tenpenny Tower. So we head inside. The guards sort of ask us to, or we can volunteer to take care of their ghoul problem. And there's a lot of different ways you can go about this. Did you do this quest, Jim?
I did not do this quest. I haven't done it yet.
Whoa, you and Johnny.
I did the replicated man this chunker.
That
quest.
wasn't the quest that we were
Scofflaws.
doing for this chunker.
I didn't know we were doing these ones.
We did
Side
mention it
quest,
last week, and then it was
Scofflaws.
also in the Facebook post. And
I forgot.
all right, well, we can talk about it. You
So
managed
we,
to talk your way into the tower.
I did. What did you do, Matt?
Oh, I also managed to talk my way into the tower.
All right.
Once Roy storms off, they tell him, like, get the fuck out of here. And Roy stormed off. And I was asking them, like, well, what if we can... I don't know. I'm a little torn on this because we do know that ghouls can go feral.
Yes.
So I think it's a little weird to be like, these people are bigots because they don't like ghouls. But, like, if I knew my neighbors could turn into psychopathic killers at any time, I wouldn't want to live next to them.
Matt, here's
I guess
a
I'm a
little...
bigot.
Here's some shock news for you. Humans can turn into psychopathic killers.
Yeah, but not because they don't take enough drugs.
I don't know if that's canonical to the games or not. I think the show was the first time I've seen them talk about how the ghouls have to take enough drugs to avoid going feral. I always thought
We
just
know
sort
that
of
the
happened.
ghouls have to take Psycho,
but-
right? Because we talked to the ghoul by Arafoo in the...
Well, it says they're resistant to drugs. Like, they're super resistant to chems, right?
Yeah, but I didn't
Okay.
know that
Yeah,
they
that's
had to take them.
In Fallout 4, there is a mention of, like, there's like a city that's run by a ghoul in Fallout 4, and he says that he thinks he was turned into a ghoul by a drug that he took. I think that's like the only reference that you get outside of like ghouls being resistant to drugs that you get with ghouls and drugs, I think.
I always thought that going feral was just sort of because they do deteriorate a little bit, even though they're immortal. I thought that it was just sort of their eventual brain decay kind of made them go feral.
That's what I thought too.
So you can sort of resolve this in two ways. The tower people want you to go and kill the ghouls.
3 ways.
I guess 3 ways. You can talk to some of the residents about having them move in.
So before you can do that, but you do have to go and talk to Roy Phillips
Yes.
first in the metro.
If you choose to
And
talk
you
to
can-
him and not just shoot him.
Yeah, you can convince him that you'll try to find a peaceful solution, and then you go back to Tenpenny Tower, and you can try to convince the residents to let them move in, which I was
Yeah.
able to do with all of them except for one speech check that I failed. Mm-hmm. But if you fail the speech check, it was one of the shop owners. If you rob them when they're not around, they'll choose to leave, and then you can continue the quest forward from there, which is pretty
That's
great.
hilarious.
Yeah.
So they're like, this place sucks. I don't want to live here anyway.
You talk to Tenpenny about a peaceful solution, and he laughs it off, but then you tell him, like, what if I convince everybody else? And he goes, sure, what do I care? I don't care who lives here.
Yeah.
So-
Tenpenny sort of doesn't really socialize with the people who live there anyway.
He
just
literally
stays in his
just sits
suite.
on his balcony all day and night. I never didn't find him on his balcony.
looking at Megaton. Was Mr. Burke here, or no? You had him killed, right?
No, I ratted on him, but Lucas, the sheriff in Megaton, said he had already left. I don't remember seeing him here, but maybe he may have been, and I just didn't piece together that it was the same person.
Yeah,
But there was no dialogue that was like, I remember you from Megaton, so I don't think so.
He wasn't here from me because he's still on the lam, but he would still occasionally be sending his love messages back to Moriarty's.
Aw.
It's nice to have someone special in the wasteland.
Yeah.
So, I did decide to do the peaceful route. I convinced
What?
everyone to let the ghouls move in. Went back, told Roy. Oh, Roy also has a suggestion that you can open, like, the access tunnels so he and his people can just rush in with some feral ghouls and kill everyone.
Yeah, he wants you to open an underground entrance so that he can send a bunch of feral ghouls through to kill everyone so they can move in.
But I went the cohabitation route, and I'm so glad I did, because if you get Roy and his friends to move in, they give you the best item in the entire Fallout franchise.
Ooh, what is it?
I'm, of course, talking about the Ghoul Mask.
Oh, I saw that.
It's a beautiful mask you can wear on your face, and it will make feral ghouls not view you as hostile unless you shoot them.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
You know what's a bummer? I never really ran into much in the way of feral ghouls after this quest.
Oh, sad. Yeah, it can really save you a lot of trouble in the sewers and things like that. If you...
Now, after this quest, if you come back,
Yeah.
you will find that Roy Phillips has killed Tenpenny.
Yes.
I did then fucking execute Roy Phillips.
Matt, how could
Fuck
you?
him.
Ooh.
Fuck that dude. He told me he was okay with the peaceful solution, and then he moved in and killed the dude that helped me facilitate it. I felt like it was fair. I did not appreciate what he had done. And so I go up to the suite where Tenpenny lives, and Roy's walking around, and Tenpenny's not around. And I was like, what happened to Tenpenny? And he says, oh, he met with like a fatal accident. And I pulled my shotgun out and blew his head straight off of his body.
Wow.
And the best part is that nobody was really around. So then I just took the elevator back down, and everything was fine.
Well, I didn't kill Roy, but I did go back later in the game to do some shopping and things. And at that point, there were only ghouls there. And I did check a supply closet and find a whole bunch of blood. And went and talked to Roy, and I was like, hey, Roy, did you kill all the humans who were living here? And he was like, yeah, they were bigots. So...
Wow. So I never went back after this last time, but the last time I went, when I killed Roy, there were definitely still humans living.
Yeah.
Tenpenny was dead, but there were still humans living amongst the colony. And so I was like, well, this is the best case scenario. Like, Tenpenny...
That's what I thought too, and then I went back and all the humans were dead.
I gotta be honest with you, if I had gone back, I would have killed all the fucking ghouls.
Even that sweet one in the pink dress?
Yeah, even the sweet one in the pink dress. Like, they betray you, basically. Like, that's what
Yeah.
it is. They're bigots. Like, okay. Like,
I
you
went to
agreed
talk
to live
to
with
this-
them peacefully,
yeah.
and you killed them all. You made an agreement with me, and I'll kill you. In fact, I'm going to boot this game up as soon as we're done and go back to Tenpenny Tower and wipe those fuckers out.
I went to go talk to the sweet one in the pink dress, and I was like, all the humans are in the closet. And she's like, oh, I'm sure they did something to deserve it.
Wow. What a wet blanket. Like, you let that happen?
Well,
Yeah,
I mean,
Vanessa's fine with
killing the ghouls isn't going to bring the humans back.
I mean, it's going to stop them from killing more humans in the future that they decide are bigots.
I guess that's true. Well, ghouls are the future. Deal with it. The future is ghoul. Ghoul power.
I believe ghouls are the future. Something, let them in. And I don't know how that song goes.
Well, that's enough of that. It's time to go to Vault 112.
Yay!
As advertised, Vault 112 is underneath Smith Casey's garage. You just have to go into the garage, find a switch on the wall, and it will open up access to the vault. And you can just stroll right in there, head held high, and you are met by a friendly robot. says, "Welcome. Please put on your vault jumpsuit. We're really excited to have you here."
Mm-hmm.
And then head on downstairs and get in one of your little isolation pods.
You can
Get in these. Do they call it a Serenity
A
pod?
Serenity pod.
You can loot the
Tranquility
shit out of this
pod.
place first, though, which if you've got those perks that
Yeah.
get you extra bottle caps and ammo, means that it's loaded with extra bottle caps and
That
ammo.
extra bottle cap perk puts bottle caps
Yeah.
in everything.
Dude, the extra ammo perk is...
everything.
The extra ammo perk should be taken the minute you can get it, because you will have...
Yeah.
I had thousands of bullets for each of my guns. Thank God ammo doesn't have a weight in this game.
Yeah, it doesn't have a weight, and if you have ammo for a type of gun you never use, you can sell it for lots
for a lot of
caps,
money.
too. So you head on downstairs. There is a group of isolation pods all in a circle, and you hop right in, sort of sit back, relax, and thus comes the best transition in this game. It's amazing. I have such a strong memory of the first time this happened, because it sort of goes to a transition screen, and then you hear this drum roll. It's like doo, and then in comes the happiest music you've ever heard. And you are in
That is the happiest
Tranquility
music.
Lane. It's black and white. It is a perfectly circular cul-de-sac. So just an endless loop of houses. And you are a sweet little girl. Or boy.
Yeah, it opens like a 50s sitcom.
Yeah.
Like everything's sepia toned, and it's
Yeah,
kind
it's
of like
Leave It to
Leave It to
Beaver,
Beaver esque.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's amazing. And you can sort of walk around. The people all just speak to you as if they're having a perfectly normal day. And they suggest you go play with Betty. So you can go to this children's playground in the middle of the cul-de-sac, and there you'll find sweet Betty, who wants to be your friend.
None of the townspeople really like it if you tell them that this is just a simulation. They're like, "Oh, you're always such a kidder, Steve."
Yeah.
It's such a kidder, Steve.
They do seem to
You
like
always
know
were a
you
kidder,
somehow.
Steve.
You know, they feel like they know you. You're just part of their community, and as far as they're concerned, you've been there forever.
So Betty's got an interesting stance on life.
Betty's a nihilist.
What was your experience with Betty, Jim?
I went to talk to Betty, and it was clear that she comes off. She's kind of like her facial model is shadowed more than the other facial models.
Yeah.
It gives her like a really evil
Well, I think
look.
they give her like eyeshadow kind of thing.
Yeah, they gave her like dark circles around her eyes, and like her skin is a little darker on her face, but she comes off as like a sadist. She's like, "Hey, let's play a game," and the game is make Timmy Nussbaum
Yeah.
cry.
She's like, Timmy Nussbaum sucks. Let's make him cry.
Yeah. It's funny if you go talk to Timmy Nussbaum after this and be like, "Hey, Betty said that I'm supposed to make you cry," and he's like, "Betty's really mean and weird, and I don't like her." How did you guys make Timmy Nussbaum
I
cry?
punched him in
Well-
the face.
Oh, wow.
So did I.
Wow.
I was gonna tell him that because I went to talk to his parents first, and you can tell him that his parents are getting divorced. And I thought that was too mean. And then the other option is to go to his house, and his parents are talking about sending him to a military school. So you can take the military school brochure and give it to him and tell him that his parents are shipping him away, and that makes him cry.
Oh.
But eventually, I was just like, I'm just gonna punch him.
Wow. I didn't make Timmy cry. There is a way to do this without complying with Betty's request, but I really want to hear about your guys' experience with Betty before I get into what I did.
Yeah, I wonder how Matt made Timmy News. Oh, he's walking away.
He's not going to tell us how he made Timmy Nussbaum cry. So Betty's next request is that you break up the Rockwell's marriage, but you can't kill either of them. Like, she wants them divorced, not widowed.
Yeah.
What
What's
did
that?
you do here?
to the Rockwell's
Yeah.
marriage. So I went to the neighbor's house and stole the wife's underwear off of her bed, and then I planted it in the Rockwell. I think it's the basement.
Yeah,
where
on his
desk.
desk. On his desk, yeah.
Yeah, you can plant it on his desk, and that causes him to get divorced.
Oh,
what I did.
wow. Well, if something that little would cause a divorce, like, there obviously wasn't a lot of trust there in the first place.
Well, she already hates the neighbor lady for some reason, and is suspicious of her. I think.
Well, I did say that.
So I think it's a pretty easy lead.
It probably was that he finds that clothing comfortable and likes to wear it when she's not around.
You can also tell her that he likes to wear women's underwear, and that will also prompt a divorce.
That's
Wow.
nothing to get divorced over.
I
Come
know.
on.
It isn't. It isn't.
I guess in the weird Fallout 50s world, they're not very expressive.
Not very progressive.
I didn't do any of this.
Yeah, I didn't either, but I love hearing about it.
Oh wow, the next one is so fun. The next one is like my favorite little quest of the entire
Tell
game
us.
so far.
Tell us.
Yeah, so the next task is to kill Mabel Henderson, and there's a few different ways you can do it. You can arrange for her living room chandelier to fall on her when she walks under
Ooh.
it. I'm pretty sure you can rig there's a Mr. Handy in her house. She's obsessed with robots.
Yeah.
She loves robots.
Like most
You
modern
can-
women.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can reprogram her robot to murder her.
That terminal's just unlocked. You can just do that at any point.
Yeah, you can just do that.
There's a roller skate
and
at the
then
top of the stairs you can knock.
There's a roller skate you can put on the stairs that she'll trip
That's what I
over and
did.
kill
Oh,
herself.
no.
That's great.
And you also
some
learn
good-
from
that's
talking
some
to
good
other
sense
neighbors. You also learn from talking to the neighbors that she loves to bake, so you can sabotage the pilot light on the oven, and then so it's leaking gas, and then tell her that you want her to bake you a pie. And so she'll go into the house and use the oven, and it will explode and kill her.
Oh my
I swear to
God.
God.
which is that's what I did when I sent you guys that screenshot of her mangled corpse in front of her oven. That's how I killed her.
Send that
how
to me
she
again,
lived,
Jim.
making pie.
You monsters.
Now the old lady came up to me after I made Timmy cry, and she's like, "Hey, this is all a dream. We're all sleeping, and there's a terminal in the abandoned house that he doesn't want you to look at." But I couldn't find this terminal. I looked everywhere.
It's in the abandoned house. So there are objects in the house, and each object when you interact with it makes a tone, a different pitch tone. If you interact with them in the correct order, it will reveal a failsafe terminal that I think is in the kitchen.
No, it's in the living room.
And with that failsafe, it's in the living room. And that failsafe terminal will end the simulation.
Now, a couple of things. First of all, Matthew, the genius, just figured this out on my own. Went to the abandoned house, went in, realized that different objects were there that I could interact with that made tones, played with them until I figured out the whole fucking song, which is like a 10-part song.
Yeah, it's complicated.
Yeah.
It doesn't make
Yeah.
it easy. It really
and
wants
then,
you to do Betty's stuff.
Yeah.
Let's not talk
And
about
then,
what's on the terminal until we're done with
okay.
Betty's requests. How about that?
Okay. Sure. Oh, I didn't realize.
Yeah. Then the next request is also pretty amazing.
Yeah, she wants you to.
The next request, she wants you to kill all the residents of Tranquility Lane by kind of cosplaying as this legendary figure in the mythology of Tranquility Lane called the Pint-Sized Slasher. So she hides a knife and a mask in the doghouse behind the abandoned house, and you go grab it and you put it on, and you're just like basically Chucky running around murdering the residents of Tranquility Lane with this knife. And you see them, and they all run away like, "Oh my God, it's a pint-sized slasher! I thought he was just a legend." And they'll just run. They just scatter and run everywhere.
At least
It's
you can
super funny.
corner them. If they go in their houses, they're dead because you can easily corner them.
Oh
in
yeah.
there the second they go in there.
Usually after like 10 seconds of running, they'll stop and crouch for like another 10 seconds and then get up and run some more. So it's pretty easy to
Did
corner
you
them
try
somewhere.
to? Did anyone try to kill or punch Betty? Because you die immediately if you do that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I was playing with God mode on, and when she kills you, the game just soft locks.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
You don't get a game over screen. The game just soft locks.
Well, and we didn't talk about the dog.
Oh, yeah, there's a dog sniffing
Yeah.
around.
And once
Around
once you do the
Betty.
first task, Betty's voice does turn German a little.
Yeah, into a German
And-
man.
And if you ask what you did to the father, she's like, "Oh, he's around, but he wasn't as he didn't play the game as well as you did." But if you ask him again, she's like, "I already told you." And besides, doesn't that dog seem very familiar? And if you go talk to the dog and say, "Are you my dad?" It goes, "Ruff, ruff."
So once the residents of Tranquility Lane are all dead, I'm assuming that Betty reveals herself.
Yeah, well, after every task, you get to ask her another question. And eventually you get to ask, like, what the whole deal is, why your dad was here, and he kind of explains everything for you. And he's delighted that you went to the lengths that he asked you to. Like, he loves watching these people in a simulation get murdered, so he's more than willing to give you some information and get you out of the simulation for being so entertaining.
Oh, that's so sweet. Well, what Matt and I did, I guess, Matt, do you want to talk about what's on the secret terminal?
Well, he does. You do find a lot of information about what's going on where the doctor, whatever Betty's real name is, talks about all
Stanislaus
the
Braun.
Dr. Braun.
all the different versions of this simulation they've gone through. They spent time on a beach. They spent time on in a ski resort. But he always gets tired and murders them all, and then creates a new one. And this is just the latest iteration.
Oh, so
of
they do
his
survive.
torture. No, this is just
Yeah,
the
if
latest.
you kill them in the simulation, like murder them, they survive. But I think the fail-safe way, they all actually
Correct.
don't.
Yeah.
You free
Yeah.
them
and
from
that's the one where
simulation,
you
yeah.
get good karma.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
this
Which
guy,
is weird
Dr.
because you'd think you kill them all and then you get out and maybe you open their pods and let them out. And that would be the
no.
good karma?
No.
Well, by then their bodies are like decayed and
Yeah, you
gross.
can
Like,
see
they're-
their
really,
bodies
it's only
are
their
all
consciousness in the simulation.
withered.
Yeah,
I
they're all
see,
desiccated.
I see.
Yeah. So, Dr. Braun, he had this idea for a vault where rather than living in the real world, he basically matrixed everyone. And he made them all think that it was real, but kept his own consciousness. And I think maybe his original intention was just to have like a nice place where they all live. But
he got
over
bored.
the course, yeah, he gets bored over the course of 200 years and realizes he can do anything to these people and then just like reboot them and they won't remember. So he has become extremely sadistic and just enjoys tormenting them and torturing them in different ways. So you can learn all this from the terminal, and then you learn that he built in a failsafe that would affect everyone else except him, and it's called the Chinese Invasion Protocol. And if you access that, then the streets are flooded with a bunch of Chinese soldiers who just gun everyone down. And this permadeaths them. Then you can go talk to Betty, and she will say in her German voice, "I can't believe you did this. Now I'm just going to be in this simulation by myself forever. This is the worst fate I can possibly imagine." And there's a
Good.
door open now where you can leave, and you're like, "I'm leaving with this dog, my bitch of a father." And she's like,
Wow.
"Fine, I can't stop you." And out you go. So it sounds like
I was very shocked. I saved before I chose this option because I assumed it would give me terrible karma. Mm-hmm. So I was very shocked when the Chinese soldiers marched into town and started murdering people, and it was like, you've gained good karma.
Yeah. Well, because we put these people out of their misery.
I guess.
It does seem like there should have been some third option where, like, maybe if their bodies can't be saved, you can at least, like, make them in charge of the simulation, but perhaps then they just all turn into little Bettys themselves.
Yeah.
So we're popped back into the real world. Our pod opens, and who should come running across the room from his pod but our very own Papa?
Liam Neeson.
Daddy.
Jamesy! Liam Neeson! You were taken, but we've taken you back. And
I have a very special set of skills, and they involve good speech and science and repair.
and we embrace, but not really, because video games have never been able to figure out how to make people hug. And he says, "This is so great. I'm so happy to see you. I love you very much. Let's go back to Rivet City." And you're like, "Wait, hang on. I have lots of questions." He goes, "Rivet City time." But Dad, I went all this way. Rivet City. Here we go. Let's go. You can go with him, or you can meet him there. And no matter what you say, he takes off at a very fast run back to Rivet City.
I told him that I was just gonna meet him there when I was ready, and he's like, "Okay, see you
He
later."
just
But I
bolts.
followed him out, just like wanted to see. I wanted to see if you could follow him. Like, I wasn't gonna follow him all the way back to Rivet City, but I wanted to see if you could. So I followed him for a minute, and when we first got out of the garage, I let him go in front of me, like maybe like 50 yards. He ran like 50 yards in front of me and immediately got bodied by a Yao like totally put down.
But he can't
Yeah.
die,
It
right?
was really
He can't
funny.
actually die, though, I think. He just,
Yeah, he can't actually die. So he fought it for a minute, and then he like went unconscious, and then I killed the Yao Guai, and then he got up and he's like, "Hello, son," and then he ran off again.
But it's not like in New Vegas, there's a bunch of people that I told to like move somewhere else, and I was following them. I can't remember which quest this was for. And they walk through, if you follow them, they walk through this area full of death claws and just all get killed. If you are following them, they all die.
Yeah.
I don't. We haven't really talked about it, but the end of the Crowley quests, from what I read, if you do it a certain way, he will walk from the underworld to the northwest corner of the map, which is the opposite side of the map, and you can go with him and protect him, and he can die along
interesting.
the way. So it is possible in this game, but I guess because it's your dad and it's a big story quest, they decided he's invulnerable.
Yeah.
Invulnerable.
It's Liam Neeson. He's Liam Neeson. He's invulnerable.
Vanessa,
So,
next time if you are wanting to feel better, but unfortunately I think this only has a couple of weeks. Next time you're in the city of Washington, D.C., there is a wax statue of Abraham Lincoln right now that is currently melting, and right now it does look like he's getting a blowjob because he's like leaning back in
Wow.
his chair, just really enjoying himself.
Amazing. All right, so next time we will be gaining entrance to Little Lamplight via the Rescue from Paradise quest. This is important because you can get into Little Lamplight just from like a conversation, but I'd like us to do the Rescue from Paradise quest and talk about it that way.
I don't know what this is referring to. What's Little Lamplight?
Little Lamplight. It's a town. It's called Little Lamplight.
Do you have to do this? Did I do this?
But
I
did you
don't
find
know.
Big Town, Matt? The one with grown-ups only, no kids? Because they're part of the same quest.
It is where you... What, can I tell you when we're not recording so Jim doesn't have to cut this all
Yeah,
out?
that's fine. That's fine. I just want to make sure I did it. I assume I must have, but
Well, we'll talk about it off the air.
I did Big Trouble in Big Town. What's
Yeah,
Oasis?
we'll do Big Trouble in
that's
Big Town and Oasis.
I'm not going to do Oasis. I'm not
It's
gonna
so
do it.
good, Matt. It's so good. All right. That's it for this time. Now I will ask Johnny what he is squarely against.
Yeah. I'm roundly for Johnny's amazing shirt. I love that
thank
shirt.
you.
It's fantastic.
It's a Dragon Quest shirt with slimes and Drakkies on it. Let's see. What did I really enjoy? I am roundly for the historical museum on Rivet City and Abraham Washington. What a fun bit of quest lore. Quest lore. What about you, Matt?
I am roundly for Button Gwyneth. That was delightful. I was really fucking tickled by running into a robot that thinks he's a Revolutionary War patriot. It made me laugh so hard. I took screenshots. I was delighted by this silly nonsense. What a fucking great game. Vanessa, what are you squarely against?
I am roundly for the whole Tranquility Lane experience. The first time I played this, I was so delighted by this surprise transition. Matt, I don't know if you knew this was coming. So this was your first time playing
in
this game.
any way, shape, or form. And I also enjoyed it quite a bit. Like, it's very silly.
Mm-hmm. It's pretty wonderful. It feels like a little game within a game.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I kind of sidestepped a lot of it because I did, when Betty was like, make the kid cry, I was like, okay, I guess. And I did that. And then Betty was like, break this couple up. And I was like, I'm not doing anything you want from me, you fucking creep. So I went and did my own thing. But
Did you notice,
I really enjoyed it.
Did you notice the town of Tranquility or Tranquil or whatever it's called? They reused this asset in New Vegas.
That's right, Johnny. They reused it in the Big Empty.
Oh, that's
DLC.
right.
Wow, I didn't realize it was the same, but you're right.
Me either. Yeah, that's
exact
totally
same.
true.
It's where the
What an
scientists
excellent
live.
observation, Jonathan.
Yep.
I noticed it. I was like, I know these
That's
buildings.
why people love this podcast. We give them tons of cool behind-the-scenes game knowledge.
At the very end of the show, when everyone stopped
You got to
listening
suffer
already.
through all the rest of our bullshit first.
Oh, Jonathan.
Jim, what are you squarely against?
I think I mean, obviously, I'm roundly for Tranquility Lane. I got into this more in this playthrough than I have in others. Amanda's had a lot of wine tonight. She was at
Jim's
a network.
hot girlfriend.
She was at a
What's up?
networking event earlier, and so she's had some
She
wine.
says it's good.
Yeah.
There's
She went to a
Chungus.
wine tasting earlier. Yeah, there's Chunkus too. So I love Tranquility Lane. Super fun. Got super into it. Way more than other playthroughs. When I've played this last time, I kind of went for the path of least resistance and all the different things. Like, in terms of like the tasks that Betty asked you to do. In this one, I kind of wanted to be as Machiavellian as I could in orchestrating these people's demises. So I got really into that, so that was super fun. I will say I don't really like Rivet City. The layout is confusing and it's boring and it's the grayest brown of the grayest. It's the most gray brown place in the entire gray brown
is.
world of the game.
Tetanus Town.
And it's just not. It's ugly.
I think what Rivet City could use is, they might do this for some vault art, but you know how ships, they'll have like stripes on the wall that you can follow.
Yeah,
to
that are
where
color
the
coded.
things are. Yeah,
Yeah,
that
like
would've
this
been
way
nice.
to medical, this way to
Right.
the I think
Half-Life.
that would be good. Yeah,
I
like
felt
Half-Life.
Rivet
Yeah,
City was a real go-through-maze. Like, I had a tough time
Go
at
through
first.
maze.
Once I had circled it a few times, I understood it. But initially, I was like, wow, this is a real go-through maze.
You know,
And
I
it's
think
huge,
Go Through
like,
Maze
if you-
has to be the name of this episode, not
Yeah.
not whatever other stuff.
But all is one word. Go-through
Go
maze.
through maze.
Go through maze.
Yeah, if you go up to like the flight deck of Rivet City, it's just huge. You know, it's a lot of real estate. All right, now it's time for Vanessa Reed's emails. This time, I'm going to read an email from Jamie.
No, you gotta read the Ron email.
We've been threatening to read Ron's email for like 3 weeks.
Well, I think that
you
gotta
sent
read
this
it.
email before Ron did. All right.
But please cut that,
Jamie
Jim.
says we don't have
will.
to read this
No.
email if we
Yeah.
don't want to. All right. Thanks, Jamie. Wait. I'm gonna...
Wow,
I'll
what a
give it-
tease.
I'll give it a little paraphrase. He has some ideas for some games that we might want to think about. The first one is Thousand Arms, which he says is a dating sim / JRPG. And that sounds
It's
right
true.
up my alley. Is that the Western one where there's cowboys?
No, that's
That's Wild Arms.
Oh.
God, how can you mix those two up? They're so different.
Also, Xenosaga.
Nope.
Which he even
that's
suggested in
just-
this email that we could just watch a synopsis of the games rather
Yeah, that's how
than
this
play.
podcast works. Jamie, have you ever listened to this show?
Well, he says he hasn't played Rebirth yet, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, so maybe he hasn't. He also suggests Brave Fencer Mushai.
Brave Fencer
Nope.
Musashi. What a great
Musashi?
game. That game rules.
I think all 3 games he's mentioned are not available on modern consoles.
I don't think so. I think it's really hard to play Brave Fencer Musashi anymore. That was one of those
bad.
games
You
that
have
I
to
first
PS1.
played on a Pizza Hut demo disc. It was either a Pizza Hut demo disc or it was one of those like PlayStation Magazine.
No,
demo
I think it
discs.
was a Pizza Hut demo disc because I think I did that too.
I think it was a Pizza Hut demo disc. That was the summer that I discovered Stone Temple Pilots as well.
And getting stoned, I assume. 420 reference.
Bringing it full circle.
He suggests
Also,
a game
let me just
called...
tell Jamie, nope.
Oh, hey, never say never. He suggests a game called Loaded, which I have never heard of.
I've heard of
And
that
he
game.
says it's
Like
not
the-
a JRPG.
The old top-down shooter?
Yeah, I guess so.
Oh, I played the heck out of that game.
Where you can play like
You
that
just said you'd
Muscle
never heard
Man
of it.
baby?
I just saw the box art and it unlocked a memory in my brain. I
Core
100% rented
memory.
this game from the grocery store.
So you're saying,
And
Vanessa?
his final suggestion, which I think Matt is actually going to be on board for this one, Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core /
Nope.
Reunion.
Now that's a good suggestion. It's
No more
available on
Final
modern
Fantasy
console.
7. I'm done.
Right?
We
Crisis
played
Core is
Final
actually a
Fantasy
good
7
game.
4 fucking times.
Wait, 4 times?
Yeah.
7
Final Fantasy
original,
7,
7
Final
remake,
Fantasy 7
Rebirth.
remake, Final Fantasy 7
Okay, 3
rebirth, Final
times.
Fantasy 7 and the Advent Children.
Oh, well, that's different.
That's a movie.
Kingdom Hearts is
That's a
also kind of a
movie.
Final Fantasy VII game.
Yeah,
Depending on
Kingdom
your
Hearts
point
1,
of
2,
view.
and 3.
Yeah. I mean, Cloud is in Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2.
Yeah.
So.
Hey, Cloud's in Final Fantasy Tactics, so there's another 5 times we played this game.
Cloud!
It's true. I mean, that's a low standard
5.
that we're applying for what constitutes a Final Fantasy VII game.
Yeah, there were clouds in Live a Live, so I think that's also a Final Fantasy VII game. Finally, he asks Johnny, I do enjoy open world crime sims, and I'm trying the Mafia series, and it's pretty fun. But Johnny, have you tried Bully?
I have. I still have listener James Plett's copy of Bully. I need to return it.
Wow.
Bully
had
is
that
available. I think the it's not like a modern day HD remake, but I think the most recent re-release of Bully is available on. I have it on PlayStation. I think I got it for like $4, and it plays really well. Obviously, the graphics aren't great in like that weird fuzzy PlayStation era graphics way, but it still plays really well. So if you want to play
And-
Bully, it's there for you to play.
I've played Bully. I really like... and
Bullying
I
people,
don't
we
know
know.
why.
Yeah.
I really like the idea of like school cliques as classes, and
Oh,
anything
yeah.
that takes like a thing and is like, oh, this is the jocks and the nerds are more like wizards, and like I don't know what it is. I think it's because I didn't really go to a real high school where they had cliques.
That's how it is in high school. The science kids know how to do magic potions and love potions and science stuff and make girls with computers.
I should have brought this up in my level up, but I went to my local library this weekend, and they had a little gaming section with a little Sega Genesis and a Super Nintendo setup. And on the Super Nintendo, Earthbound.
Oh,
And I played Earthbound for like 30 minutes, and I was like, I remember playing this game. It's amazing and delightful.
great.
And my daughter played it for a bit and got really mad because she couldn't understand it.
We should play that game on stream. I think after John plays Phantasm Phantasy Star, we should play Earthbound. I'll
also play Phantasm, maybe 3.
Yeah. play the whole Phantasm series.
And what about Vanessa's turn to play a game?
Yeah.
You can
What about
Vanessa can play Phantasmagoria.
Vanessa, King's Quest 4. King's Quest 4.
Oh yeah,
love
you should,
that.
Yeah, that would be
or
fun.
you should
Fucking
play
love
play a broken sword.
Broken Sword would be
man.
great. King's
Or
Quest
Quest for
7 could
Glory.
be fun because it's so
Oh,
silly
yeah.
and cartoony.
Or maybe
There's
Harvester
songs.
again.
Yeah.
No, I'm not playing Harvester again. Every year at Halloween, you try to get me to play Harvester again. It's not going to happen.
I watched a YouTube kind of explainer video. It was like a walkthrough kind of Harvester a few nights ago, and I was thinking, like, I get why Vanessa hates this game. Every woman in this game is some kind of gross archetype, like, and they don't act like real people, and it's like every woman gets a weird kind of violence inflicted on them. It's like a very uncomfortable.
It's
I
horrible.
mean, that's what life was like in the 80s.
Remember how you could peep through the peephole and watch like your mom changing over? And
No,
over
it
again?
was the
girlfriend.
hostage
the
girl.
fiancé, yeah.
The hostage girl who thinks she's your fiance. Her dad was peeping through
Oh,
a bathroom
that's right.
peephole at her.
We
Even
have
grosser
a
than you
Patreon.
imagine.
Yay!
We have a Patreon. Someone talk about it. I'm too upset now by Harvester memories.
For $3... Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead, John.
For $3 a month, you get access to every single bonus episode we've ever done. This month, it's going to be on the Jim Says 3-hour DLC. I'm going to have to test that because I need to play it before.
I
we
feel like
record
this is
weekend.
this is a 3-hour DLC.
I don't
It
know
started
if
getting-
all of the chapters are the same, but the first chapter, you find so many bullets that it's like a joke.
You get through it in like 40 minutes.
50 bullets by the end of the...
Yeah, that is kind of
that's
the
good.
joke.
That probably will come out on July 1st, actually, because we're going to record it on June 30th. So,
Yeah. Well, we could put it out on June 30th. Jim's a quick editor.
it's my month to edit.
Oh.
And
that's a
we'll be editing it. We'll be recording it, I assume, that night. So,
All right,
probably will
fine.
come out on the 1st.
All right. Anyway, so yeah, we have you'll have access to every single bonus episode we've ever done. There's some great stuff. Check out the one where we all do PowerPoint presentations. I think that's a good one.
Can we do one where we all do Excel presentations? That would be amazing.
No man,
I'll do what
Excel
I
or
did with the PowerPoint presentations and not do one and make fun of you all the whole time.
Yeah. And for $5 a month, you get to vote on upcoming games. I believe that the next game is going to be my choice, so it is not going to be a vote, but it's going to be a shorty, so it won't be another 10 episodes.
I
But
don't
after
know.
that-
Will that be a shorty?
Yeah, I think we can do it in 3 or 4 episodes. 3 episodes.
I
probably.
don't know, man. That game's kind of long,
It's like 12 hours, isn't it?
but it's got all the other multimedia stuff with it too.
Yeah, but it's got 6 half-hour episodes, so we could do. Well, we'll talk about it, but yeah, I think we could do like there's 5 chapters, so we could do like 1, 2, 2, or 2, 2, 1, or whatever, something like that.
I think it just took me a long time to get through that game. Maybe.
How long to beat says it's 10 hours for the main story, 13 hours for main and sides, all play styles 12 and a half.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, so
spooky.
3 episodes for the next
Speaking
one.
of shorties, I do think next week will be our penultimate Fallout 3 episode. So.
Ooh.
Oh,
Wow,
wow, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Short
we're getting to it.
series.
Well, the main
Anyway,
story is so quick, and I don't think
No
we need
matter.
another episode just for side quests.
I think it's better to do some short seasons after
Yeah.
our
Yeah.
12-episode Final
Yeah.
Fantasy VII series.
so no matter what you give, if you give us anything, we will thank you over a series of episodes. Like right now, where I'm going to thank Justin Rash, Sean Walsh, Wedgecoon, Stardrifter, Edarul, Matt Jorgensen, Butt Cheeks, Lex Averial, Ron
Jorgensen.
Ron, and Loafing Around.
I'd like to thank It Makes Me Uncomfortable to Hear My Name Read on a podcast, Anthony Lerma, Andy Best, David Green, Friend of DeSoto, Aaron O'Toole, Wash in the Wind. For Square Roots Podcast, I'm Stim Stanks. I'm Respectable Name, Julie, and Explosive Diarrhea.
I'd like to
John,
thank
John,
Tom.
are you still drinking the backwash from Teddy's sodas at the cabin, or what's?
Now, those are all recycled.
I'd like to thank Tom, Saul Wagner, Omen Rand, Chris Penyak, Chris Sasaki, Anthony Cruz, Addicted to the Smell of Natty Ice, My
What?
Battery is Low, Gigantified Micro Space Hamster, and Doom Train.
Doom Train.
And I'd like to thank Mike, Andy Smith, Jay Bird, Butts on Parade, Johnny Five Alive, Ari Kopivara, Arthur A., Jason Timms, Justin Ham, Sergeant Spaghetti, and Andy M.
All right, well, that's it for this episode of Square Roots. If you'd like to send us an email to have read on the air, you can email us at squarerootspodcast@gmail.com. Come see us at our Facebook group, the Square Roots Podcast Group, for smart, cool, very attractive people, or on Blue Sky at squarerootspod.bsky.social.
Please rate, review, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Ghana, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Thanks to Stephen Morris for our Square Roots theme. You can find Stephen on YouTube. Links in the show notes.
I'm pretty sure we have one listener on Ghana, and I think it's time to cut that loose.
Hey, we can't cut them loose. That's our best.
I mean, it's
listener on
free.
Ghana.
It's
free
a
to
free
put it on there.
platform, yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't cost
All
us
right.
anything to put stuff on there.
All right, for Square Roots, I'm Jim Banks.
I'm Matthew Van Zant.
I'm Johnny Brandon.
And I'm Vanessa.
Goodbye.
Bye.